What's going on, everyone? Shout out to Jason Bourne, official, Johnny the Latin Pig, the Fight Scout, salute, the Quag, salute. What's going on, gentlemen? Um, Thank you guys for stopping by. For my late night edition, obviously, everybody knows what happened with Felix Verdejo by now. Um, so I just wanted to touch on that just a bit. Um, Me and Felix Verdejo grew up in the pretty much the same area. We're both from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and you know, it could be a pretty tough town. And I must say that I'm not too surprised that he got caught up in something like this because of something that I was told from a friend that I still keep in contact with, that I grew up with back in San Juan. And I left San Juan way before Verdejo, excuse me, Verdejo was even thought of. I was like 13 years old. It was 35 years ago, something like that. And but I know the area. I know what was happening to it at the time, and this is not excusing the behavior now. As of right now, he's innocent until proven guilty, but obviously it's not looking too good for him, right? Apparently, there is a eyewitness that was with him when he did this murder and is already talking, and that's just the way it goes, right? It goes that way when when it comes to another man's life to get in trouble. But it happened pretty fast, right? So from what I know of the case, this girl went missing somewhere late last week, and her body came up missing. Her body came up, excuse me. They found her body dead on a Saturday, so like maybe 2 days later. That's the way I understand it. And basically the eyewitness is already talking, or already has talked and implicated Verdejo as the perpetrator, as the person that actually killed her. And obviously, from you guys more likely heard about the details, that was pretty horrific, what was done to her. It definitely sounds to me like a guy who, whoever killed her that way, and they're saying it's him. And I have a feeling that it was him. It's a guy who's, from the way I understand it, like more likely he was probably around something like this in past. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I remember when I became aware of Felix Verdejo and basically getting in contact with a good friend of mine that was, you know, grew up in the same area and was aware of of Felix Verdejo, and he said that he doubted that he would go very far in his career, not because of his talent, it's because of the decisions that he makes. And I asked him what he meant by that. And he elaborated that he was involved with some really crazy people, and he's basically a person that doesn't make good decisions. And so this was around the time of his motorcycle accident, right around that time, or maybe a little bit before that. And then the motorcycle accident happened. And I remember talking about it. This is obviously way before any of this. Um, Understanding where he was riding his motorcycle, how dangerous that is, if he could make crazy decisions like that, obviously, he's not really taking his career that serious, because some of the dirt roads in this part of town is it's always been known to be extremely dangerous to ride a motorcycle through there, a dirt bike, or anything like that. Pavel, salute, brother. Salute to my man Pavel. Good to see you around, brother. Yeah, so I think this kid always had these tendencies. Always, when you know, you kind of always try to take a look at the individual, and obviously they're not going to tell you everything. You just read their body language, and you can tell, something in the eyes that they just never lie, right? You can lie with your body reaction, but the eyes, the windows of a man's soul, you know, there was something definitely off about him, and always has been. And so, who knows what happened to him, right? Who knows what he got himself involved with? But he ended up killing. If it's true, he ended up killing a girl that, look, I'm gonna be careful how I say this, right? A girl who was involved with making bad decisions in her personal life, right? He is a man that's married now. I don't know all the details, but he's married and he had children with this woman, and she comes around and tells him that she's pregnant. She's pregnant from him. And I'm going to assume that she knew his temperament. She knew the kind of guy he was because, from the way I understand it, they've known each other for, uh, you know, a very long time. So he must have showed what he's capable of doing. Maybe not this exactly, but yeah, something, something to that. From the way I understand it, Verdejo was a street thug. That's from people that I know from San Juan, that he was a street thug. I got to be honest with you, reading his body reaction, the way he looks and everything, yeah, he kind of fits the bill, right? I'm not saying San Juan, Puerto Rico is like anywhere else. Puerto Rico, period, is like anywhere else. There's great people and there's not so great people, and then there's people that would kill you, and you never know who that is. So I would take a guess that this girl knew that this dude was a hot tempered individual, a guy who had low impulse control, but more likely never thought to herself that he would do something like that. Right? I think that if she thought really that he can kill her, and maybe he threatened her that he would do something like that, she never took it serious. This has happened in the past, man. This story reminds me of a gentleman that destroyed his career. Not a gentleman, a piece of shit, to be honest with you, by the name of Ray Caruth, back in the I want to say mid to late '90s. He was an NFL football player. He played for the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, extremely gifted athlete, right? To make it to that level, just like Felix Verdeo. And a girl that he was dating, he got her pregnant. Now, I don't believe he was married or anything like that. I don't believe that was Ray Caruth's situation. But obviously, he did not want anything to do with this girl and her having his child. And I believe he killed her, or he got somebody to kill her. Either way, he was responsible for her death, and he was found guilty, and he served something like 25 years in prison, I think, maybe less. She was pregnant at the time from um, their son, who survived, who is all messed up. He's all messed up today, the son. And, he gets out. The girl's dead. So this kid obviously never met his mother. This situation is worse because Verdejo killed her and the baby, obviously. I don't know how far along pregnant she was, but it sounds like she was in the early stages of her pregnancy. The whole situation is fucked up. And I believe Verdejo has demons. He has demons that outweighed by a lot the goodness inside of him. And it looks like Verdejo is going to be in a world of problems. Maybe he's okay with that. Maybe because of his temperament, he's fine with, he's probably feels that he's ready for what's going to happen or what's going to, obviously what's going to happen is he's going to be in prison and found, if he's found guilty, there's a good chance he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. And let's just say I came across a video where there was a guy who was expressing his anticipation of meeting up with Felix Verdejo in prison. The guy was, I don't know how he was doing this, but he sent a video message to Verdejo, basically saying that he was food on the table and that his peoples can't help him. To me, it sounds like more of a threat than some guy who was disgusted what he did. That's how I read that. And so therefore, what goes around comes back around, and eventually, the worst is yet to come for Felix Verdejo. Anyway, I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you guys want to jump on. All right, so give me 1 second. I'll drop the link. Okay, there we go. For anybody who wants to jump on. All right, that's the link. If anybody wants to jump on. Yeah, and Johnny Boy, don't try to jump on because I don't know if you're listening. You're not welcome over here. And you should know that by now. You're definitely not welcome over here. You're a foul individual. You're fucked up in the head, and I don't need somebody like you jumping on. But anybody else that wants to jump on, feel free to join the panel. We could talk about this situation or any boxing situation you guys want to talk about. We could talk about Anthony Joshua, AJ versus Fury, whether that's going to happen or not. And if it is going to happen, when's the date? I'm about tired of that situation. You got the Canelo fight coming up soon with Billy Joe Saunders. That's this Saturday. So boxing should be getting interesting. All right. Jackson.
What's good, my man?
What's going on, brother?
Just chilling, man. Just living the dream.
That Florida life, right?
Yes, sir, man. It's some nice weather. You in New York? Or you in Miami?
I'm still in Florida, man. Still in the.
That's what's up. Getting ready to retire, huh?
Pretty much, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, what do you think about this Verdejo situation, man?
Yeah, I think that's fucked up, and I think that dude is just a bad dude because he probably had the more I was talking to Thunderdome about this, and I think honestly, maybe the wife came up with a plan and was like, "Oh, we're not gonna let this bitch ruin our family," and they just whacked her. I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't really know his inner family situation, but apparently I heard the same that his wife was aware of this girl, obviously
Oh,
before the death. Yeah, she was aware of this girl, so there was obviously something going on there, right? Um, who knows what's true, but apparently he's known her for a very long time, even before they dated. Like he's known her, like when they were teenagers, and it doesn't surprise me because he comes from if anybody knows San Juan, it could be a beautiful area, but there's some really bad areas around there. And some of the people I knew were telling me that he was like hooked up with how can I say this? Very antisocial people. Let's just say it
yeah,
that way.
yeah. That's how Tyson always described people. He's like they're antisocial. So you think he might have like got some people to do it, or you think he? It almost
Well,
looks like he
okay.
did it himself a
So
little bit.
I know where he went, right? I know because supposedly he dumps her body
Mhm.
off this into the ocean, right? Basically, okay. So he did it in, I believe, in San Juan. If he did it there, then he did it by this town called La Perla, which is the Pearl, which is a very
Mhm.
shady town. It's where all the drugs come in, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
violence. It's always been known for that. Even going back from, when I was living there. I left when I was 13, so that's like shit, 35 years ago.
yeah.
Um, so it was known for being a drug trafficking area, a lot of killings happening there, and the same thing. They would kill people to dump their bodies into the ocean, right? And so the way they're describing the witness that basically, I'm guessing as soon as he got caught, it was just like, yeah, Verdejo did it, right? Like he was just like, he did it.
Yeah.
It sounds like Verdejo knew what he was doing.
I mean, her car was that maybe, but it kind of sounds pretty stupid too, because like his car was there, like
Right. I mean, he
he,
was
he
dumb.
totally fucked up. Yeah, yeah.
So he injected her with a syringe. Okay, so first he punches her. I'm assuming he knocked her out, right? When he was punching her. Then he injects some type of some deadly cocktail into her body. I'm guessing she died after at that point. It's disgusting,
Dude,
obviously, right?
that's pure fucking evil. Like, how could you fucking do that? Because like he's making like what he's making decent money, even though he just like lost his last fight. But like to do that, and she was pregnant, like that's a double homicide. And is he got the charges or anything? Because I looked it up on the news, and it was just saying like he boxer is maybe the subject of a possible murder. They haven't said he's arrested or anything yet.
I think he turned himself in. Yeah, he turned himself in. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty. Now, it's looking that way according to the friend, right? If we to believe
Yeah.
the guy that was with him, the eyewitness, then if it's true, then this is what he did. And apparently, I think they even caught a video of his car going to this
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I heard he was on camera, possibly.
yeah, man, he fucked
He's
up.
fucked, dude. That's just pure evil. Like I wouldn't. What's up, my brother, in the chat? But dude, that just I can't see myself. Like I guess we could all probably see ourselves like being a killer for like something that like we were extremely passionate about or something, and you knew you were never gonna get caught. But like I could just never see myself doing something like that to a girl and her baby. That's fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, this obviously there's plenty of stories of this happening where the guy's not famous, and so it doesn't make the
Yeah,
headline news, right? This happens.
yeah.
Um, there was a situation that happened in I want to say the late '90s. There was a football player by the name of Ray Caruth that did the same thing. different
I thought you were gonna
situation.
say OJ for a second.
Well, OJ did it out of jealousy, right? He did
Yeah, yeah.
that out of like his ex-wife moving on, and I guess dating other men and shit. So he it was
Total
obviously,
jail. Yeah, total
yes, but it
jail.
was a jealous rage. Where
Yeah.
these guys, Ray Caruth, right, what he did was the same thing. He didn't want to be involved with this girl, having his kid, and I guess having to pay her um child
The
support.
alimony. Yeah, some guys just don't want to do it. Like they feel like the girl bested them or something. Like you know what I mean?
I wouldn't do it, Fight Scout. I wouldn't. Okay, I would bite the bullet and face my family and have to. I mean, I've been in situations like that, not necessarily like that, but you get what I'm saying. Where I fucked up. Uh, my ex-wife became aware of it. The women in my past became aware of it, but never in my mind did I said, "Let me kill this bitch."
Yeah.
Let me
Oh,
kill her
shit.
so this secret can never get out. Let's see, I got somebody else. Oh, got BDA.
Oh, what's up,
Hello.
BDA?
Mr.
Can you guys
BDA,
hear me? Can you guys hear me?
what's going on, BDA? How you
How
doing,
you
man?
doing, man? Hey, finally made it, man. Even though it's late as shit over here, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
what's
on,
up?
recognize it is late as fuck. I gotta go to bed this thing. Gotta get up early.
So are you fellas talking about the Verdejo thing?
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were talking about like obviously not to try to get into too much details, right? But we know the situation. We know what he did, and I don't know if you were listening, but what do you think about what we said, or do you want to add something to it to what he did?
Well, I think I heard you say. I just got the last 20 seconds. I think you, you guys think he did it, right? Like it's becoming obvious that he did it. It's him and somebody else, right?
Right. I believe the most simpler explanation is what happened. Okay, who would want her dead, right? What did
Hmm.
she do?
Right?
What did she do that would warrant her to die? Well, a married man, and she's having an affair with him, and she's now pregnant, or she's claiming that she's pregnant from him. Now, I don't know if they determined that she really was, right? Because sometimes, and again, I'm not throwing shade on this girl. I'm just saying from experience, sometimes a girl, let me not just say her, all right? I'll say sometimes a woman, when she's having an affair with a man or they're in a relationship of some kind, where there's no second woman, but he doesn't want to be with her like that. He doesn't want to, she'll say, I'm pregnant. This happened. I was talking about a situation that happened in the late 90s. An NFL football player named Ray Caruth, who was pretty young, like 20, 22, 23, somewhere around that age. The girl he was seeing was pregnant. I think he killed her or got somebody to kill her. They shot her a bunch of times, but the baby survived. And
Oh,
he's a young man today, but he's disabled, has all type of issues.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
jeez, Luis. So okay, so what happened with this fell with Verdejo? He and somebody else got like. How did she die? First of all,
Okay. So the details are pretty
So, Jed,
subject.
What's up, bro?
subject.
What's up, my bro? What's up, BD? What's up, lads?
How you doing, man?
Good to have you on, Jed.
Yeah,
Now, this is what I understand. So he picks her up in his car. When he picks her up in his car, they take her. I believe they take her to this. They take her to like this cliff where um, it's facing the ocean in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I believe that's where it happened, right? And I know the area very well because I used to live out there as a kid, and so I remember it pretty well, right? And so he starts punching her, knocks her out, is what I'm guessing. If not, straight up killed her.
Oh,
But at
before I
least,
recognise, I think he shot her. Allegedly, he shot her with a syringe or something.
right. So that's what, yeah, I was going to bring
Yeah,
that up. So
yeah,
after he knocks her out, he has this deadly syringe, cocktail of like deadly poisonous shit that more likely will kill you. So he sticks that in her, and then he ties her hands behind her back, he ties her legs, and he has like a cement rock or brick, something that would sink her, body down, and before he does, he shoots her 2 more times. He shoots her with a gun, right, and make sure that she's dead. And this is all according to the guy that was with her. And they throw her body into the ocean, um, and basically, they found her body. They found her body a couple of days later. Through dental records, they were able to identify who she was. And basically, to me, if somebody's capable of doing that, I gotta say he's either witnessed this or did it. Maybe heard
Done
other
it
people.
before a couple times.
Yeah, maybe he's witnessed shit like that, because this wouldn't be the first case. Anybody who knows that area knows that a lot of bodies disappear there. It's a port where a lot of drugs come in. It's it's pretty it's pretty deadly over there. Let's just say if you're
They don't fuck
yeah,
around.
yeah.
And apparently, allegedly, I don't know how true it is. A guy on another stream was telling me. So I think this was his mistress. Is this correct? This was his mistress.
This was his mistress. Yes, I forgot to mention that part. That was his mistress that he was dating for a few years. He's a married man with kids.
Yeah, allegedly, I don't know how true it is. It's just what someone told me on another stream. His wife's father is allegedly a big time,
Everything you're telling me, Jed, everything you're telling me, I had a friend who's from that area told me the same thing.
Yeah,
Everything you're saying, except maybe the details about the father, all I heard was he was connected to some shady people.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was getting. Yeah, that's pretty much.
So Jed, the father's just a big time
Yeah.
pretty much like an underboss guy in the community. Everybody knows who he is. Like,
that's what I heard. I don't know how true it is because I couldn't find any articles on that or nothing. It's just what someone told me who's I'm pretty sure he's Puerto Rican heritage as well. Like recognize it from New York. The guy on the other stream was a Puerto Rican from New York that told me this.
Yeah.
Hey, so why did the FBI get involved?
That's the mysterious thing. I don't understand that. I mean, shit. I know the ATF is the ATF has one of his headquarters in PR. At one point, that was the only headquarters they had.
Well, because it's still U.S. territory, Puerto Rico, isn't it? So FBI has in there, don't they? Yeah. So.
Yeah, but why are they making it a federal thing? Like, when the
Well,
police, if it's straight up right.
That's what you got to think. What are the links? What else is involved? I don't know.
Well, I mean, okay, if he did that where I think he did, I'm wondering. Okay, there's a place called El Morro, right? It's a little tourist spot. It's in San Juan. Unless that became federalized and they did it there or close to that, I'm thinking maybe, or the baby somehow turns into, because she was pregnant, or that's what she said. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's been proven 100%, but yeah, I don't understand why the feds would get involved with that unless there's other connections there.
But didn't she tell her family that she was pregnant, and that's what nobody knows for sure if she was pregnant, but I heard she told her family.
Hold on, I want to address this question. Okay, let's say you have no choice. What's your plan? He's talking about would I do this? The same
come
thing.
on, man. I reckon this is gonna write a
I
book.
would pray to God, Fight Scout. That's what I would do. I would pray to God, and I would never do it. Never, ever.
You're gonna write your new book. If I did it, here's how I did it. What was it? The OJ thing?
Yeah, that was crazy, OJ.
What's up, Mendoza? What's going on?
What's up, Ness?
Pop Tart Gun. I haven't seen you in a long time. Salute. But yeah, it's a crazy scenario, man. Just a crazy situation. What's going on there? Obviously, he was infested by this violence. Obviously, that's what he led violence. And I always noticed body language, face, the way he would conduct himself. And I always said, once I became aware of who he was, and that this guy was hanging around very shady people, right? It all started making sense way before this happened. I did a video in my old channel when he had that accident, the accident where with the motorcycle, right? And the area where he did it, I'm like, dude, that's a fucking. I'm not saying that I would never do it, but it's like the chances that you could get into an accident on a dirt bike or a motorcycle is very high. Let's just put it that way.
But you know, it makes sense though that he got into this. That his career never really went anywhere. It's because he was hanging around with the bad people, probably outside the ring. He's
Yeah.
hanging around with some shady people, probably doing narcotics, banging prostitutes. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's fun, but if you're a professional boxer, it takes its toll on you, and it can turn out to be a never was. That's what he is now. He's a never was.
Yep.
Yeah, and the friend that told me about him, this was a friend that I grew up with in Puerto Rico. He told me, he said, "Look, I don't think he'll go far, and it's not because of his talent. It's just because this guy's connected to, he hangs around very dangerous people, and he makes, a lot of mistakes. Obviously, to hang around these people, you got to be somewhat like that. And again, this is alleged because I don't know for sure, but it makes sense to me now that it all happened. When I heard this, I was like, holy shit. Just started thinking right away the conversations I had with this friend about him, the motorcycle accident. Every time, when you look at someone, yeah, he's a boxer. He's something not right there. There's some evil thoughts going on in that kid's head, and that's the impression that I got from him always.
Yeah, and I mean these Puerto Rican slums and that and ghettos, they make a lot in the US look like paradise, don't they? I mean they're really, really,
Yeah, they do.
really
Yeah,
bad.
from what I've seen.
Yeah, really hardcore places. So if he's still hanging around in that environment, I mean, his career was never going to go anywhere. And it's crazy how life works. I mean, this guy and Errol Spence, I remember at the same time with the two top prospects,
Yeah,
coming out of the 2012 Olympics. Look where Errol Spence now is, and look where this idiot is. Like, it's crazy.
You know, it's interesting. Didn't Nakoto too get into an accident?
yes.
When he was right. That's why his right hand sucked, right? Or was it his left hook that got damaged? I forget.
Uh, it was just shit. I forgot. BVA. That's a good. Was it his right hand that he
Well,
fucked up? He needed to put a plate. I think it was a metal plate there.
now here's my question, because you know all about crime and statistics and all that. Puerto Rico, the section where it took place, you say you have knowledge of it. How dangerous a place is it where this whole thing went down?
Okay, I want to address this to Pop Targon. Then it's exactly where I thought it was. Okay, so there's a if that's true, then I know exactly where it happened. You ever heard of La Perla, which is in San Juan? So it's at sea level. It's a town that's directly on sea level. It's crazy. So whenever like floods happen, they get hit the worst. It's a very dangerous area. A lot of, I don't want to say the people are bad there. Most of the people there, I'm sure, are good people, but they're just like super poor. Well, anyway, it's also where all the drugs come in, and so you'll have people that live in San Juan, obviously, all through there that are involved with the. I'm talking about the people that are involved with the drug trade, right? They don't necessarily have to be from San Juan; they could be from anywhere. And so, obviously, a lot of crazy stuff happened there. I think a tourist back in the day got killed. A Marine got killed over there. They kidnapped him. They killed him. They threw him in the water. Same shit. So it's really bad. I remember my mom threatening me. I better never catch you over there. I like don't go over there. Because I'll hurt you if you do.
How do you spell the town, Matrix? Just La Pella, like
Yeah.
LA?
Think of the Pearl. The Pearl. That's what it translates to in English. Yeah.
What's like the main drug on the island? Is it crack and heroin, or just everything, or is there main?
Well, it's I wouldn't. I know when I was right before I left, right.
Yeah.
There was you watch the news and it'll be about that area. Somebody got killed, went missing, drug bust, this, that. I remember that much, and I'll be like, Ma, look, and she goes, oh, that's what I told you. I don't want you over there, you motherfucker. Don't go over there.
Yeah.
And it was known for, like, we were young kids. We would talk. Yo, I bet you would never go to La Bella, right? You'd never go down there. You're not stupid. You're not that crazy. And that's what it was known for, even back in the 80s. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So now, and from what I heard, like in the 90s, it got worse and worse and worse. But a lot of cities in Puerto Rico were seeing the same things, obviously. And so, like, yeah, when Puerto Rico was, like, at its peak of crime, like, yeah, that town was it was definitely responsible for a lot of it.
I could imagine it'd be full of, like, 'cause it's not far from South America, and it's even it crosses it through Puerto Rico a lot of the time before it hits the East Coast. So I could imagine it's full of coke and crack and that,
Yes.
all
Yep.
over the island. Must
And
be a
so if
wash.
you're involved in that, you think to yourself, could this, way before he became a boxer, this was probably in him, right? This was just probably a lifestyle thing, where he's a boxer naturally because he's a tough kid. He at least has discipline enough to practice a craft, to become a professional. But inside, he's a killer. If things don't go his way, this is what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, we saw it the last couple of days
Yeah.
from what to have happened. From what it appears to have what's transpired. That's exactly what he had in him.
Yeah, I'm reading about it, and it says it's the main city for drug smuggling. It doesn't say what drug, but it just says it's a bad place. It's like I can imagine it's way worse than any like American ghetto.
Yeah,
Yeah, the crazy thing about it, it's at sea level. You can be in one part of San Juan and see the town. It's like standing on a very high balcony, right? And then
Oh,
That's crazy. I'm fucked up by the hurricane too. It says part of why it's so economically fucked up.
I've seen a lot of them ghettos in Puerto Rico as well. They look similar to the Brazilian ones, like they're high up like that. They're really
yeah, something
close.
like that. Yep.
Yeah, really look like people live like on top of each other as well, like really enclosed and that.
Now, the
I have a
interesting thing.
question.
Oh shit!
What's up,
Hey,
official?
official, what's up, brother?
Hello, Recognize and everybody else. Well, just a question. I think I was reading the chat room of Mark's video on this thing. Somebody was saying that supposedly it was Verdejo's wife who was helping him, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem legit to me. But have you heard any of that?
Jed was saying something. Go ahead, Jed. Tell him what you heard about the wife's. Was it you, Jed, that said it?
Yeah. Someone told me in another stream that the wife's father is like a big boss over in Puerto Rico, or at least in that neighborhood. A big time dangerous guy. But then I've also heard that the wife was involved as well directly. I heard that as well, official. I heard that just from, I think, in a chat as well. So there's so many different stories and things being said as well. So, but yeah, if that's true about the wife's father, I mean, it definitely, it looks like they could have something to do with it. Who knows?
I saw a video on Instagram. I talked about it earlier. So there's a guy that's making threats, right, towards Verdejo.
Yeah. Sorry, recognise quickly. That same guy that told me about the father told me about this as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that guy sounds like he's the same guy that told you this?
Told you, yeah, he told me as well that they're threatening him if he goes to prison. They're going to kill him and shit.
Oh, the guy that I'm talking about in the video.
Yeah.
He's in prison, right?
Well, the guy that told me about the father told me also about this guy you're talking about threatening him on Instagram.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy, obviously because I'm from Puerto Rico and I understand the slang, even to today, it's pretty similar, right? So he's talking about how Verdejo is food in prison,
Yeah.
and he's basically saying too, I don't care about the people you got outside, the brothers in here. He's talking about his brothers, in here will make sure that it's not the same way. And then he shouts out a area where he's from that's known for having conflict, where maybe his people who are they're associated with are from, and that's what I was told. Right? Look, when I left that part of when I left Puerto Rico, I wasn't aware of who had problems with who. Right? It was just like little kid stuff. My neighborhood versus, I was from Barbosa. This guy was from this side, and we would play like, man, I could outrun you, or we're better baseball players, shit like that. It wasn't, oh, you come in my neighborhood, we beat you up, we'll kill you, whatever. So I wasn't aware of these beefs, and so I sent it to that friend of mine, and he was telling me, dude, that's a threat.
Yeah.
Personal threat. This is a guy who's either knows him or has problems with guys that he's associated with.
Yeah, and the same guy that was telling me about this, he told me that the guy that made that Instagram video, I think he or he's affiliated with that group, the group that runs the prisons in Puerto Rico. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, recognize. That group.
What? Yeah. Oh, you think? Oh, he's associated with them? That makes sense because he says you won't be safe in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it makes sense.
that makes sense. Yeah. I don't care. I don't care who you're connected to out there, and here is different.
Yeah. That group that runs the prisons there. I think they're big in New York City as well. That group. Yeah.
Is it the Nietas?
Yeah. I just didn't know if you wanted me to say
it. Yeah. They even bigger than the Kings. Yeah, they became bigger than the Kings.
Especially back on the island, Especially on the island,
Yeah, that's where it originated from. Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't nietas? Doesn't that translate in English to nieces?
Yeah.
The fuck, that ain't tough. That doesn't sound tough.
That's an interesting.
It does. You're right.
Bring him over, man. Bring him over. Bring him over here, man. I'll take care of him.
It was like
Thank you.
Bring him over to Quebec City.
Yo, PDA, are there gangs in Canada? My bad.
No, go ahead, Jackson.
There's no such thing as crime. There's no such thing as crime organizations.
There's no
here.
gangs, or I'm sure there are, but
there must be gangs. But I mean, I'm like, listen. For example, I'm part of I'm somewhat of an authority figure here in my neighborhood. People come up to me, but there's no other than that, there's no real organized. I mean, you got a couple of gangs here and there, but they all pay respect to me.
Hey, Jackson, trust me, in Canada, there's some real serious groups in Canada. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm sure in every country, everywhere, you can't escape.
Absolutely, man. Wherever you go, there's gonna be, there's gonna be a town that everybody tells you about. Hey, you don't want to go there. Trust me.
Look at Adonis Stevenson's background. He's from Montreal. That should show you how dangerous.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, Pop Tart Gun, I think you're right. He's probably right now trying to come up with a story because Verdejo has some melanin in his skin. So.
Does that work in Puerto Rico though? Does that work, or is that like does that stuff, can he even play anything like that? Or
I mean, listen, there's prejudice there, of course. There's the darker skin ones, and then there's the lighter skin. Yeah, there's something to it, but when you get older and you just go about your life and you get caught up in this life, it's all about ranking. That's it. If you're it doesn't matter. You could be blonde hair, blue eyes. If you're a killer and you got connects, everybody's gonna be like, yo, I want to be with him.
Yep. Now it's interesting, man, because I was thinking about this. How long before 2020 or one of these investigative shows shows up to Puerto Rico to do a story on this? Because again, it seems there's a lot of people saying, oh, this is bad for boxing, because yet another MMA fighter ends up murdering his wife. But I mean, it's not like it happens every day. That's the way some people are making it.
How many? Yeah, they act like this happens every single day. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Dude, they go carried away with it, don't they?
The similar situation to this, I was telling everyone earlier, BDA, was I don't know if you ever heard of Ray Caruth. He was a football player back in the late '90s. He played for the Carolina Panthers. He was dating a girl, got her pregnant. She was far into her pregnancy because, well, I'll tell you the story. So I don't remember the exact details, but he either got her killed or he killed her himself by shooting her. The baby survived, and and he's a young man. And he got all type of problems. So this happened before, you know what I'm saying? And maybe there's other cases like that that I'm just not aware of. But if this happened all the time, we wouldn't be able to count, right? We would be like, damn, 1,500, 1,700. I don't remember all of them. So it doesn't happen every day. It's a rare occurrence. So when people say this is bad for boxing, shut up. You just wanna say that. That's all it is.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I mean, there's been other cases that are way more interesting than this one. For example, in MMA, a couple of years ago, there was an MMA guy. He wasn't a big known star, I don't think, but he fought in one of those adjacent organizations. He ended up going to some sort of ayahuasca retreat, and he went nuts and he ripped the heart out of someone's chest. Well, obviously his
Damn.
chest, not his ass, but yeah, he ripped the heart out. So to me, that's way more interesting than fucking Verdejo, unless, of course, like you guys are saying, the FBI is down there for a reason because they're connect, or maybe maybe he's connected to some of the people who did the murder, and these people are into some other shady shit. And maybe the feds are thinking, hey, listen, if we get Verdejo, maybe he can spill the beans to something else. You never know.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking now. That's what I'm thinking, that maybe there's something to the why would they get involved in a murder case, the FBI? And I think Pop Tart Gun in the chat said, well, it was on federal property, but if I understand it correct, that doesn't necessarily guarantee the feds to get involved. I could be wrong about that. Pavel, what's up, brother?
Yeah, but recognize that usually it's to be like a serial murder case they're looking into or something really bad. Usually not one murder would
Okay,
do that.
here's where I find it weird, Jackson. So the feds get involved and his accomplice talks right away. Why did the accomplice? Who is this man? Who is this guy? Exactly.
What if Verdejo's a serial killer?
Could be.
Dude, he could be. The place he's from, you never know.
Imagine, they're gonna they're gonna do the interview with him, and they're gonna go, you said in your manifesto that you were trained by the CIA. Is that true? We're not gonna go there. Why? It says it right here. We're not gonna go there. So,
Yo,
Yo.
Brother.
I think Pavel, if you want, man, just when you're ready to talk, brother, just unmute your mic. You're in the stream. Yeah, but
can you hear me? Sorry for interrupting.
no, I hear you just fine. What's up, Pavel?
Oh, what's up, all the panelists, all the chat? Nice to be back. Knowing all the people from the past, but anyways, just I don't want to interrupt you for too much, but just giving my 2 cents on the whole Verdejo thing. I know the basics of the whole case. I read 1 or 2 articles about that, and on one hand, I don't want to throw like prejudgments on the guy. Like, of course, you have um, the how do you call it in an American law? Like you're innocent until you're proven guilty, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, maybe that's illogical, but I want to compare his case to Mike Tyson's. And don't get me wrong, I used to be a big Mike Tyson fan when I was a teenager and a bit stupid, but uh, he came across as a guy, despite reading all his biographies, all this shit. Like I was a really big fan once upon a time of his, um, and to me, despite his bad upbringing, despite his uh, bad surrounding, the people around him, like Bill Caton and Jimmy Jacobs, like the financial handlers of his, were trying to be like they tried to teach him at least the financial things so he doesn't fucking end up like a Evander Holyfield. But he to me, like, after analyzing his whole fucking life, he strikes to me, apart from his current image, like a so-called a sage, with a smoked out mind. He strikes to me in his younger self as a thug who wanted to get rich, as like and he wanted to live a typical thug life despite his um, um,
his
despite the
profession.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite the advice that the smarter guys, the financial guys, gave him, regardless. And that comes to the rape thing. Despite the victim's further actions, like accusing the high profile athletes of the same thing, like rape and all that, honestly, I don't know if he's that innocent, Tyson. And the same thing, I want to bring this back to Verdejo. Maybe that's a very parallel thing. I don't, despite he's like innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if he didn't do that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See, now let me say something here. Pavel, you've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. Mike Tyson's innocent. All right?
Of
If
course,
you
yeah. I
really,
mean, it's been proven. Like, I mean, what he's been sitting in a jail, right, for that. He did his time.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if listen, I don't know. I remember
I
listening.
didn't rape the fucking this we watching the man.
Right? I know what you're trying to say, but really, I'm no one can tell, to be completely honest. And even though I'm really able to give the benefit of the doubt to Felix Verdejo of not killing the his fucking family or whatever, I cannot give the benefit of 100% if you get my drift.
Yeah.
The-
This whole thing
yeah,
seems very fishy, man. The whole Verdejo thing. It's
it's
just, it's.
exactly, it's fish.
We'll let the facts speak for themselves. But
He always struck me as a strange guy. Strange guy. I could
you
be
know
wrong.
what? You said about the body language. I focus on the. I'm not kidding. The eyebrows. He's got evil eyebrows. You ever notice? Like, I know it sounds funny, but most of the time, if you look at a guy and they got like those arched eyebrows, that point downward, so they look like an angry bee. Those are the guys you got to watch out for, man. Because I
You
do
gotta.
believe.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you gotta watch out for every guy that has eyebrows not straight. I'm sorry, especially if it's not natural. It's like I've read about, just as a quick note. I've read about this fucking psyop Vietnam era officer Michael Aquino that um, formed the so-called, like, a esoteric cult, like something Aleister Crowley like, a Temple of Set, something like that, like a satanic kind of cult.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
And
it.
he had
It's
like a
fucked up.
pointy fucking eyebrows, and that struck me as a look. What is this guy up to, right?
yeah, but that was all orchestrated. Like that whole eyebrow thing. Like this Verdejo is natural, I think.
That sounds right.
What's up,
He's
Revolution?
natural.
What up, guys? How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Trying to get my eyebrows to be pointy.
Let me read your body language. Let me see, Revolution. What I think you're capable of. To be continued. We'll see.
All right, word.
So, Revolution, what do you think about Verdejo? Anytime you want to speak, buddy, you can speak.
Holy shit. Hello? 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. Yeah, I hear you just. I hear you just
Oh,
fine.
word.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can.
So
All
what do you
right.
think about
Anyway,
Verdejo?
yeah, I've been watching so much fucking true crime shit, right? And like all these different murders, and now it's crossed over into the boxing world. So it's like all my interests coming together right now, and I'm liking it. Um, it's good entertainment. But no, on the real though, it's fucking terrible. Sucks, man. Like, really unfortunate when shit like this happens. You know, that's the standard answer, I guess. Um, demons, man, as opposed to like demons. What do you guys think motivated it? That's what I'm here for, I suppose.
You know, I told you on air and private. I believe those things exist, bro. They're in
Oh yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
They're capable. They're around everybody. It's just certain people are more. Um, they're more prone to like let those demons enter them because you normally don't act like that until you start getting possessed, right?
Come on, wait a minute. You guys are laughing at me about my eyebrow theory. Now you talk about demon possession. Come on, I'm telling you, there's no. I'm serious. There's something to it. I
Yeah, I
think
don't
the
believe in
outlook.
that.
Listen, listen to this. I think inward emotions and character manifests itself through body language and physical characteristics over time. It's a theory. It's a field of study. Actually, it's called something. I know for a fact that somebody's already come up with that, but I forget what the name is. But there is something to that. If you look at this guy's face, he does look like he's got a lot of anger inside.
Possessed.
Yeah, possessed.
Verdejo?
Man. Yeah,
I looked at some pictures of him today, and he didn't look like no demon. He looked like some friendly fucking Puerto Rican kid.
but you looking at his face when he's smiling, right? But if you look at what the typical, I'm talking about body language. I'm not talking about just race. If you look at the typical Puerto Rican thug from PR looks like, or from the islands, Dominican Republic, Cuba, they all have that stone cold face. They look like him. That doesn't necessarily means he's guilty. I'm saying anybody who's been to the island like me and lived there, they know what I'm talking about. He fits the description.
If an outsider perspective means to you anything, especially someone who hasn't been in contact with, like personally, with the Western Hemisphere, with the New World, he doesn't strike me as the Stone Cold Tony Montana.
Right.
I mean, he's just a kid to me, still.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
kid
it's a
that's
Yeah, how
good
old
very
point.
is he?
that could be very at that age is when they're the most dangerous. That's when they're well, he's 27, but
Thinking with your smaller head, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And younger than me. Yeah,
And you know what's
27 years
interesting
old.
though? You know what's interesting
Or,
that the woman, the mistress, I forget her name, but she told her family, right? Hey, I'm gonna go see him. Not for nothing, man, but that's the importance of telling people where you're gonna go, or at least always letting somebody know where you are at all times. Because maybe you disappear now with cell phones. It's easier to track people and all that, but you never know when you're gonna fall into a ditch somewhere or whatever, and you want people to know where you are and where you're going.
Yeah.
yeah, lucky. You know, a lot of these cases, they ping the cell phones, and it just so happened that they knew that the two cell phones were side by side, his and hers. It was like the whole story. Yeah, they like met up. He had somebody else where they shot her up with some drugs, and then the other dude drove her car over to the bridge. Like they both like drove both vehicles. Then like they dumped her over and shot her, and then abandoned the car somewhere.
Yep.
Didn't take long, man. It wasn't a big search. Kind of just the guys just kind of turned themselves over. It seems.
It is interesting that the guy that was with him, as soon as the feds became involved, he just started talking. I find that pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's he was supposed to be the badass, right?
I mean, I'm
Friends were.
thinking, why would Verdejo bring him? Was he somebody he trusted, or was Verdejo the badass and he was just like a nice person,
Right,
or
right.
relatively nice compared to him, right? Because these people are not nice. They're not. They're not your average nice guy. Let's just put it that way, right?
Hey, by the way, just real quick, recognize, is that Gonzalo? I don't know if
Oh
that's
yeah,
the real one.
Gonzalo's on. What's
Yeah,
up,
okay.
Gonzalo?
I wanted to ask him something. Gonzalo, you there? Gonzalo, can you hear me? I don't know if that's the real Gonzalo.
That's probably not. I don't know. We'll see.
Gonzalo.
That was his avatar last time I saw him on StreamYard. So I hope it is.
No, he might be having mic issues or something.
Could be.
Yeah, what was I
Verdejo
gonna
should
say?
have consulted John Gonzalez.
Well, listen, if he speaks, because I want to ask him something about the Discord. But real quick, there was an application I posted about this on Discord months ago. There's an application where if you put in your coordinates and your information, it actually sends you coordinates to a specific location. So supposedly it's supposed to be random, and a lot of people that end up showing up there find objects that are related to them in that place. Now, there's been a lot of fake YouTube videos as well, like where people go, "Oh, I got these coordinates," and then they
Hello?
go there and like some fucking what?
Oh, Gonzalo.
Yeah,
Gonzalo.
Gonzalo, how you doing, man?
What's up, Gonzalo?
Gonzalo.
Hey, yeah, I'm listening. The coordinates.
Gonzalo, I wanted to ask you, did you read the messages that G Boogie sent you?
No, the internet went out on the farm, so I drove out to the next town over, and they got
Okay,
this
you
little
need to.
machine called Peso Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm gonna read them.
Yeah, Peso Wi-Fi. That doesn't sound too reliable. But yeah, get back to G Boogie because he's got some he's got to ask you some questions about some material that he wants to purchase for you over there. So he
Oh
needs to know
yeah,
some
that
details.
little tube,
Yeah,
that 1.0 Shiley tracheostomy
right.
tube.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
really
just
like almost damn near impossible to find. But I don't think the doctor wants to go that route now, since it's been such a long time, and we're always to that point where he might get better the next day, and but we don't know. She's like hesitant. She's hesitating to do that little hole on the trachea now. She just wants to keep it with that tube lodged down the throat, given that he gets better tomorrow or the next. We're at
right.
that point where we're hoping
Okay.
and praying, but then science tells us that fucking that pneumonia can't be in the system for that long. But yeah, I'll read it anyways. I'll talk to G Boogie
Yeah, just let him
and I'll
know.
get
Just
to
let him
him
know.
regarding that.
All right, man. Cool. Well,
Yeah, I left the hospital because I got a crazy ass cough and I am sneezing. I didn't want to get my wife sick because she's spending a lot of time inside the ICU. And we can't afford to do that, so I had to leave. Right?
Yeah, Gonzalo, and the rest is important. You have to rest a bit, to stay strong.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but
of
just
course you can't.
imagine I get sick, then I get my wife sick. I can't fucking
Yeah.
jeopardize it. And the people there too. I can't jeopardize their health.
Yeah,
Take your
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
man.
I'll tell you
you
why.
guys
I'll
got to
tell
do
you
the
why. You
considerate thing.
asked Revolution. I'll tell you why I think Verdejo did that. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I have some life
Let's hear it.
experience. Look, man, a crime of passion is different. It's when you catch your wife cheating on you,
Mhm.
like as a man. Because I mean, a woman can catch the man also, but I mean, the man's tendencies are to be more violent. You catch the woman cheating on you, you walk in on her, you can snap her neck, you can fucking shoot her, you can kill her, and the law will see that as okay, was the fit of the moment, and you fucking reacted. This is different.
Right, right.
Now, him killing her, I think the reason that motivated him to kill her was the peer pressure. No, the fear of him losing his wife, because the wife knew he had her. He must have warned him many times, leave that girl, leave that
Uh,
girl. Then he didn't. Then he got her pregnant. Then that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. If you have a child by her, and then I'm the wife, and I have to be living with the fact that my husband's got a kid with another girl, and every time I look at that kid, it looks like my husband, so to speak, right? Then that's the
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
that might have put the fear in Verdejo's eyes. Because when you're pussy whooped, depending on how much pussy whooped or in love he is with his wife, that other girl, man, he's gonna tell himself, man, I can't fucking lose my wife. Then if you're the guy
yeah.
that likes to, it's all about not about the Joneses, but about living that life where people see you as exemplary. Oh, I got my wife, I got my kid, and I want to be good with their family. I want to be good with my family. I'm living that double life secretly, but my wife knows about it. But she's warned me many
Mm.
times. But then now the the living fact that she's gonna have a living the fact that she's gonna have a living son, in flesh by another woman, that could motivate him to kill her, but then also she can be an accomplice, an accessory. I don't know if what's the word? Maybe not accomplice, not even an accessory, but
Accessory. No.
I don't know. No, accessories when you help somebody, and accomplices when you premeditate with them. And I don't think she might even be that.
Okay.
Just the fact that she thinks that he might lose her is enough to put it in his mind. It's all on him. A little bit of a peer
Okay.
pressure on
Yeah.
her side.
I wasn't
And
even thinking of the
Gonzalo,
wife in this situation.
and on top of what you just said about his wife Gonzalo, you have to keep in mind the rumors circulating about his wife being the daughter of some big time crime boss.
Yeah,
So
That's another.
that's
it's an
another
additional
aspect.
pressure on Verdejo.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if that's true, if that's true, then it makes you say, well, why the fuck did he kill her, right? I mean, it's why would you have to look? I know plenty of stories, people that were involved in a relationship, marriage, and there was a girl involved, another girl involved, and that girl became pregnant, or she said she was, and I'm sure there was a million things going into their mind, right? And but they didn't do it. This guy actually did. He actually did it. Whatever he fantasized in his head, which is the mark of a killer. A killer will think
Yeah.
about it first and then do it, right?
Mm.
Sometimes I remember one time I saw a fight, and one of my great stays in the university, all male universities, right? The guy kept saying, I always remember this. He kept saying, "Yeah, I'm falling down the wrong path. I keep envisioning it," and I knew what he was talking about right away because I felt the same way too. Because I keep
Ooh.
seeing it in my head. I keep seeing it. When you see it, it's like it stays there, and your body is like it's like it's a weird feeling. It's like it's telling you do that shit. This is how you're gonna do it. You can see it,
Yep.
right? So it's what allows the man not to hesitate when he goes in full attack mode. He sees exactly how the situation is going to play out. It may not
Almost
be
like
exactly to
it
the T, but yeah.
there's an amping
You know
up,
how he
right?
did it, right?
Yep. I know how he did it. Yeah, I was talking about it earlier.
He punched her. He punched her. He punched
Yep.
her, knocked her out, then got a syringe and of an illegal substance he got in the street, so it was premeditated. He had the syringe beforehand. Shot her up, then tied something to her feet and tried to submerge her.
Yep.
But you reckon as you were talking about
Does
that about
anybody?
the what that guy that said, oh, what was the exact
No,
thing
he,
he
he
said?
kept saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm seeing it in my head, bro. I'm seeing it in my head. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do
Jeez.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because that's interesting because see, when people kill somebody or they're thinking about killing somebody, there's an amping up. I don't know how else to describe it. Like there's a mental preparation, right? It's never like Gonzalo said. The crime of passion is from 1 second to the next. You go from 0 to 100. You go nuts and you see red, right? But when it's this type of premeditated murder, there's a sort of like justification that goes on, and then they start preparing themselves, and then because to kill somebody, it's it's not like punching somebody in the face, which is bad enough already if you're not that type of guy, but to actually fucking beat somebody up, drug them, and then shoot them and tie some shit, heavy shit around them and throw that's this guy prepared for it.
This is a girl
Like
you were sleeping with for a couple of years. You knew her since she was from the way I understand it, he knew her since she was a teenager. they were around the same age when they were teenagers, and you could throw all that away because she says she's pregnant from your child. On top of that, I mean, it's a man who's psychotic. Yeah.
Can I just give? I guess again in the Western Hemisphere, you have a difference between first degree and third degree murder, right? So, like, I don't know whether it's the first or the third degree that is done within affection, like you are really in a really emotional state, and you just fucking enrage and you kill the slut, right? So that might happen to him, and I'm not discounting that, but shit, I lost my track of thought. Sorry.
Don't worry
Well,
about it,
she not
man.
only killed her, she killed the baby that she had inside.
What?
She killed the baby she had inside as well. So you got to think.
Seriously?
Right. Yeah, she was pregnant. I don't. Hey, did they prove she was pregnant?
It's a good
Guys, can
question.
you-
I mean, did they find a baby in the fucking corpse?
Yeah, I mean, they would know that they should know that by now.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a
So I'm
difference.
assuming.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say that I'm assuming like at this point it's pretty obvious about the baby. So if there was any bullshit about it, they would have said so, right?
Yeah, you know what, man? To me, it's about the prime difference of either what guy said before, whether it was done with like a plan beforehand, premeditated, or like in the heat of the moment, right? I mean, shit, like
Premeditated.
we cannot tell, right? Yeah.
Hey, can I say something?
What's up, Boogie?
What's up,
OG.
man? Is that Gonzalo?
Yeah, that's Gonzalo. Hey guys,
Gonzalo.
real quick, I gotta answer this phone call. Stay on and take over. I should be back in 4 minutes.
Yep.
Hey,
All right.
G Boogie. The
Hey,
internet went out on the farm. I just came over to the town over and I got some internet.
Okay. Did you read your Discord that I sent you?
Well, I'm trying to hook up. I went to your personal Discord and it's not connecting. I don't know. It's weird. I was about to read it. Sorry.
Who's that? The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, baby, this
Hell
is
yeah.
the American dream. That's the road, baby, with the
Monkey like a monkey,
elbow,
daddy.
baby.
It's the Hard Times World Tour 1987, baby. And that War Games, it's coming down.
That's right, baby.
What a
That's
legend.
right. But
What a
let
legend.
me finish telling Gonzalo. I have this manufacturer company that is they do outsourcing of equipment. Well, in your Discord, there's a card that you need to take to the hospital. I already sent them the prescription that you sent me on Discord, and they need for you to go to the hospital and get the thrash, the TRACH. I think it's pronounced thrash. Reference number from the
The
hospital.
trach number. Trach.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you need to go to them, and then I sent you the card that the email is the one that I highlighted. I sent you it twice, the email twice. First is the email,
Sorry.
and then the picture, and then the email. And then if you want to, just for insurance, CC me on the email when you send it to those people, so I could confirm. And once they get that, any whatever overnight or whatever thing they need to send it to the hospital, just let me know and I'll go ahead and take care of it.
Okay, G Boogie. I'll look. I'm gonna ask for that reference number. I know they go they go by numbers. Not I don't know. If that's not a reference number. I know size numbers. I'm gonna try to get a reference number.
You have to take it to the hospital. They don't know what it is, and
Okay, because I
basically
don't know what it is,
they
but you
they
said
gonna
it's a reference
con
number.
they gonna contact them directly. I left you the email, and then have them CC me on it so I can see the traffic, and then I'll know once it comes in and they got it. I can go there tomorrow because we have a differences in hours. So,
Yeah. Okay, I'll get to that when I
all right.
go over there. I'll go over there because I got a bad cough. I had to leave because I didn't want to get everybody sick there.
Yeah. I made sure that Mr. BDA has it on his Discord as well.
Okay, what happened, BDA? He left.
I don't know. He said
He had to
something
go to
about
sleep.
he go to sleep. And I'm gonna do the same thing, but that's why I came on to ensure that you got this information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, brother?
Thank you, Jibo, for all you're doing, man. Just,
Yo, bro, look, like I said, it brought flashbacks of my son, and I know what you're going through, my brother. I don't want you and your wife to worry about it. We're doing it for Mateo. We're doing it for your family. We're doing it to ensure we got your back, and that's what we're doing.
thank you, Jibo.
All right, my brother.
Okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Take care, Gonzalo.
I'm
Thank you,
gonna
G
get some.
Boogie.
Yeah, hey, I'll do it for any one of y'all, man. I don't want. I don't want to see uh, a parent go through that. I know it's difficult. When I was there,
Yeah.
it's very difficult, and I know what he's going through, and
Yeah.
I'm thankful for everybody participating, helping him out. And what was the last result, Gonzalo? That I think it was up to 16,000. We're almost getting there, man. We got 2 more thousand to go.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my brother. Just I'm letting you know that we all love you and we love
Okay,
Mateo.
thank you.
Keep your
Thank you,
heads up,
Jibo.
man.
Appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You got family
Thanks, Art.
forever, my brother.
Thank you, Jibo.
All right, man. I'm gonna
Oh,
get me
thanks,
some
Art.
sleep. You guys have a blessed day or night or I don't know. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. Peace, brother. We got a whole variety
Good
of
night, Jibo.
time zones right now.
Yeah. So
Right now, where I'm at,
Gonzalo,
go ahead.
if, oh, I'm sorry. If you can go ahead
No.
and get that done, if you can go ahead and get that done, my brother, the faster we
I
respond to
will.
it, the
I
faster
will.
we can get it done.
Okay, so I'm gonna relay that since I'm not there. I'm gonna relay that to my wife.
Yes, sir. Just have her read the Discord.
Uh, yeah, I'll relay that to her, so cause she could talk to the doctor about that, and then she can relay back to me.
Yeah.
Right, but right now, I think the freaking internet's out, man, and there's like, for example, there's like three networks. Like let's say, for example, AT&T, Verizon. The one my wife got, the one I got on the farm is the same. So I drove out to the next town over. I'm using a different network. But the one she's got over there in the hospital, General Santos, I don't think it's working because she hasn't messaged me ever since the morning. So I think the internet's down due to maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
She's not reading my message. So we just gotta wait for that network to be operational.
Okay. Well, as soon as you get it done,
You
just
know,
like I said, I'll already have the lady waiting for you or waiting for the hospital to send that for her. And I gave you the explicit
they found
instructions
it.
for it.
They found it.
Bro, that's why I'm trying to get you, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy cool.
God
Okay,
bless.
Wow, man,
God bless
you're really
Mateo.
resourceful.
bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
God bless Mateo,
look,
man.
my brother. Look, my brother. This is why we doing it, because we all could pull together. Okay, and this to show people in this
That's some
world.
special ops shit though.
No diga nada. No diga nada de
That's some
eso.
special ops shit right there, J
No
Boogie.
diga nada de eso. No diga nada de eso.
That
¿Entiende?
fucking tube is damn near impossible to find, man.
No diga nada
Unrivaled
de la
look
otra.
for it in Ireland. Official looked for it in Poland and in Germany, I think. I looked for it in San Diego and in the Philippines, and we could not find it. We even
Well,
looked in the Childers.
look, God is with us,
Crazy.
and
All right,
hopefully
I'll
we
get
can
back to
get
you.
it done. All right, my brother. Hey, peace to everybody.
Uh,
Love y'all.
Hey, G Boogie, thank you for stopping by, man. I wish we could have talked
Two
more.
Boogie's an ace.
Yeah,
I wish we could. I know you got things to do, my brother. You're a good
yeah,
man.
I gotta get some rest,
Nice
man.
talking
I
to
got
you
some
yeah,
shit
guys.
dog.
going down.
Sleep up.
All right, God bless y'all.
Peace, J Boogie.
God is with you, man.
God bless.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So
So
what's this I'm reading
Boogie,
on the thing here? Andy Ruiz and the
Man,
team trashed the dressing room? Like how so? Like
yeah, that's
at a
Sergey
part
Kovalev.
were they
Salute to
partying
Sergey.
and living it up? Or were they like mad and they smashed a bunch of things? Because I would be a little
I
upset
don't
with
know,
the
man. I don't know.
it could have gone either way. They won, so it'd be like a party, but didn't look too good for him.
They say Andy Ruiz is a genuine character. I disagree, man. I find him to be a little when you say that your performance was 60%, no, that's not true. Nobody goes in there and gives it a 60%, man. 60% ain't nothing. You at least want to go in there. I could believe somebody said I give it my eight. That's like 80, but I didn't get my 100. But to say 60%, but then prior to the fight, you're saying,
It's a funny
I
number.
want everybody to tune into the fight. It's gonna be amazing. Freaking buy the pay-per-view. Wants to cash in fight so he can live the life, buy more cars, shit like that, man. And then when you say, "Oh, let's say for example, my ceiling, I'm 100% is the best Andy, or that's the best that I can do. I'm a good fighter, but after this fight, that was only a 60. Come on, man, that's not true.
Come on, bro. And this is a tune-up as well. Think
I
about
would
it.
have said an
So
80. I believe that 80,
when
85.
when he was at
But words mean a lot. Words mean a lot, man.
when he beat Joshua in the first Joshua
Yeah.
match, what do you think? That was 100% Ruiz? That's on point, the best, or what, 95, 90, somewhere up there. So then the second
Well,
fight with Joshua,
that's only like.
go ahead.
I mean, it's really hard for a person to ever be 100%. And sometimes it might be
Yeah,
you're
that's what
not,
I'm
and you
getting at.
might be 110 fucking percent, 110
The
if you're
stars
juiced, if you're fucking yeah.
with, a little luck too. But then, the second fight, so he was probably like a 85, maybe a 79. And now, like, he's a
No, well that's it,
60%.
man. That's to 79. No, nobody can judge that and translate it into like action and fighting.
You know
You
what I read
cannot.
into
That's
that,
just fucking
Gonzalo?
words.
You know what I read into that,
Yeah,
Well,
Gonzalo?
I'm
78.
thinking,
Yeah,
no, I'm thinking
When
like
the guy
C
starts,
plus. I'm thinking like a grade in school, C plus, C
okay, like
minus.
we can judge a guy's
that maybe.
performance, but at the same time, I also think when fighters do that, what they're really saying is this fight didn't go 100% the way I wanted it to go. That's what that
Mhm.
really means. Because remember, you're a fighter, and you're fighting another guy who's a fighter. He's at the professional ranks. You can't predict outcome according to rankings. Sometimes, remember these guys. Once you start getting in the top 100 of a weight class, you're really part of the elite if you do it the right way, right? Sometimes it's political, and a guy gets found out, he's not even a top 100. He's like merely a top 500 maybe. Um, and but if you do it fair, you do it straight down the middle. These guys know how to fight, so they're not there to lay down for you. They're gonna give it their best effort, and maybe you wasn't expecting that, and the performance didn't turn out the way you exactly wanted to. But he won the fight, right? He beat him. He outboxed him for the most part, and probably won, 8 rounds, anywhere from like 8 to 7 rounds.
You know what bums me out about this? That Areola, this is gonna make him have another fight after this. Now, all right, he's gonna have at least another fight or two. And I thought after the Konaski fight, cut it off there, bro. Like, hey, you did a good account of yourself, but you're getting a little old, and now you're starting to take heavy hits. You can't really block them as they're coming in. Now you're just eating them on the chin. And now he dropped Ruiz and gave like a decent account of himself once again. Oh my God, this poor man. He's gonna be really slurring his words bad in a few years.
Something
He's gonna be one of those
fishy,
guys.
man. If I may interject, I mean, sorry for a bit of a general opinion on the whole, at least the first Joshua Ruiz fight, but I think Joshua threw that fight. I think he was offered some kind of a really lucrative deal because overall, looking at the whole fight, maybe I'm the fucking casual, but to me it looked like he Joshua really threw it, and judging by his reaction, like he's all fucking smiling when he's um, backing up from the knockdown and all that. It's so fishy. Like
Well,
Joshua isn't despite him being a fucking portrayed um, as a robot and all that. I don't think he's that dumb, and I just think I don't know, he threw that fight. It was all so fishy to me. This whole thing, like him uh, not really getting back up within the referee's count and all that. I don't know. Maybe I just have limited fucking vocabulary, but it was so all fuck so freaking fishy to me.
There's a lot of fights
Out of
that I see
place.
like that, and sometimes it
Yeah.
makes me wonder. It's hard to really say, but yeah, he looked real off that night, and he looked weak. And of course, Andy's a heavyweight fighter, and he's capable of hurting you too if you just like abandon total defense, and he could catch you with a good shot. Looked like he hit him in the temple, but I was thinking to myself, damn, he hasn't recovered yet. Like, what the fuck happened to you, bro? You're either this is the
Especially after
worst
the
night.
Klitschko fight, right? I mean, he recovered there pretty well.
He did against what's his name? You're right.
Vladimir, yeah.
Vladimir. Yeah, Vladimir caught him with a big shot, bro. Caught him with a big shot that I would have not been surprised if it would have been over at that point. When he got back up, kept his composure and won the fight.
Yeah. And
now
not
to
to
one
like
to one.
just to interrupt you, Sir Revolution, but
It's okay.
it's like you got this fucking behemoth of a boxer like Klitschko, like this fucking machine in front of you, and you get dropped by the right hand that was really accurate, and there's no fucking shame in taking a knee. That it was like usually a smart thing that a boxer does, like fucking stay on the ground for just a few seconds, and um and then and he got back up, like we've seen it in the fight, but like not against Ruiz, who has much okay, regardless of the game plan, yada yada yada, he had much smaller reach. uh he was obviously less fit than Klitschko, and just adding those things up, it's really it doesn't add up, right?
Well, you have to take into consideration. I would say the home field advantage. He lost that big UK crowd that fucking comes out singing the songs and everything. So he didn't have that behind him. And
Yeah.
you could say the physical changes, a little more buff, a little more cut, and not a boxer's build, more of a bodybuilder build. And to one of your points, Pavel, laughing when he got knocked down in the Ruiz fight. I believe he was smiling too when he got knocked down by Klitschko. So that's kind of just something, I don't know, just how he reacts to it, I suppose. But I think overall is the difference is Ruiz that night had a pretty good killer instinct. When you get a guy hurt, that you fucking get on him. Now we did let him get away for a bit because he gassed, but luckily, I believe Joshua was gassed too at that point. I think after the third round, even if Joshua got a couple rounds off, he wasn't going to get past a certain point of stamina, or at least he was going to gas himself out again really quick.
Yeah.
And you could tell when Ruiz was putting his foot on the gas, man, he was fucking putting it down heavy. He was a heavy foot.
Yeah. Honestly, like I'm not trying to portray Joshua some fucking guy on a Klitschko level, at least technically. Absolutely, the scenario that you're talking about is 100% possible, and I wouldn't absolutely be surprised if that would have happened. Like, freaking Ruiz just beat him up. But on the other hand, it's just a guy who's being treated as a golden boy, just throwing it all out just like that against a fat guy. Maybe he got hit in the temple really hard, and he just didn't really have in him. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, Andy Ruiz got good conditioning, man. Just because he's fat doesn't mean he doesn't have a good gas tank. He can
He
go
looked
the
weak in this
distance.
fight, Gonzalo. To me, he
I
looked weak
agree.
in this fight.
He put him. Oh, this fight. Yeah,
Yeah, with
I think
Ariola.
I think the fatter version of Andy Ruiz is better. Not the 310, but
Yeah.
the one, the 260,
Man,
60 pounds.
I love it. I love Gonzalo. I remember the comparison you're making of what is it? Well, 500 pounds of pillows, 500 pounds of feathers weighs as much as 500 pounds of bricks.
Gonzalo, you breaking up. Gonzalo, you breaking up, brother.
Combo.
he doesn't realize he's breaking up.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop Gonzalo and have him come back. That's what I will do. Let me see.
It just doesn't. I love how it doesn't stop.
I dropped him just so that he could just jump back on, and maybe that'll clear the problem.
Man, and it's his voice too, somehow through all of it. And yo, guys, I just fucking moved today. This is my new spot.
Nice, man.
Yeah, this always sucks.
Good. I hate moving. Moving sucks though.
It does. Yo, guess what happened? Like, I moved into my friend's house in his basement. I'm renting his basement for like $100 a week.
That's dope.
Fucking real nice real little gig, right? But dude, I got a box spring and a other half of this couch, right? Like, this is a sectional. There's another side of this.
You got your own kitchen?
No.
Yeah.
That's a little pain in the ass. But they're just they're redoing all that shit, so it's all nice. The bathroom at least is all done. The kitchen will be done in a couple weeks. Point is,
the bathroom. So the bathroom's done.
Bathroom is beautiful.
That's perfect. Then you can just get yourself some food and
cooking up. Yeah. So, point is, I got here, right? And I didn't have too much furniture, just my bed and this couch. My fucking box spring and the other part of this sectional couch are too big to fit down in the basement through any doors. It's impossible to get them in here.
Oh shit.
And right now, the U-Haul is outside. Both of those things are in there, and I have until 4 o'clock tomorrow to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna have to bring it back to my storage unit and
Can't
hang
you
out in the storage unit for a little bit, I suppose, because I have like a piano there too that can't really move right now.
I hear you, man.
It's weird.
I used to hate moving. I love obviously getting a better situation, but the moving part just really fucking pisses me off.
Dude, I haven't slept in a mattress since January. And I'm looking at my bed right now. Oh my God. I'm thrilled. I'm just absolutely thrilled.
Does anybody care about AJ versus Fury anymore?
I don't give a fuck anymore.
I said that because
My man.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, both of them are surely very good fighters. I do respect them a lot, and certainly I do respect Fury. Such a nice skill set, but man, they're dragging it. And plus, they fucked Usyk over. I mean, everybody's crying about their title
Yeah.
shot, but Usyk's been waiting on his for 2 years, and Eddie Hearn, man, plus what the things he was doing in the Chisora fight, etc., just trying to fuck him over. The thing is, they they're kind of setting up this fight as an undisputed fight, but they took that belt just to take pictures with it after in the ring after their fight, and then they're going to throw it away, and it sucks.
Man, yeah, I want to see that Usyk one more than anything, especially because the man came up from cruiserweight. Move aside, let him go through, let him get his fucking fight. You know, he should get a little priority. And what do you guys think about the BJ Saunders? Do you want to go on to that? With they might call that off, or do you want
you
to
guys find it
finish
weird
up
how
with
they're not promoting that fight? I mean, was there any conferences
Canelo?
that these guys did?
There was one
No.
yesterday, the first and the only one, I think, yesterday, because yesterday on YouTube, there was on the Zone Boxing YouTube channel, I saw that there was supposed to be some conference that I could not give a fuck about.
It's getting weird with Canelo fights in terms of how they set up these events. You know, again, I know people would like to accuse me of being a Canelo hater, and maybe I am, but I don't say things without some evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
just sorry to interrupt you for a second, but look, I'm surprised that people don't see some people like, let alone the fanboys, but the so-called objective boxing fans don't see any problem with Canelo's record. Like, there's so many asterisks over his fights. I mean, comparable to Mayweather, and you can call me Mayweather hater or whatever, but it is what it is. I mean, we're not gonna discount what we see with our own eyes, right? We're not gonna insult
I
our
just
own
hate when these
intelligence.
fighters become the mainstream's main guy. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with becoming mainstream, but when you start becoming the main guy, then you start seeing a lot of bullshit. Because I've always said Canelo is a skilled fighter. He's a very good fighter. I think he lacks
Definitely.
a couple of things. I think there's certain things, like the footwork could be better. And maybe at this point I'm nitpicking, but these advantages that it seems like he's asking for, like entitled to, it's what turns me off about him. It's like, I don't. Now I'm rooting against you. I'm only interested in seeing you lose a fight.
Yeah, you know
Going
what,
to.
and this is something I've talked about before. It speaks to the culture of MMA versus the culture of boxing. With protecting that zero is so crazy in boxing, but in MMA, hey guys, take losses regularly. If somebody's undefeated, it's unbelievable. Nowadays everybody's pretty much undefeated. The top 10 to 15 guys are all undefeated. In boxing.
Here's how you
So
know that undefeated record is becoming nothing. I'm gonna name you three guys that are undefeated. That's Big Charlo,
yep.
Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders. What's the problem with all three of these guys who are in their 30s undefeated? What's the problem with that? Let's see if any bells ring off automatically.
Those are like fine wines. They're like,
Yeah,
a nice Cabernet, a nice Pinot Noir on the
they
wall.
all haven't
And
fought each other.
Al Heyman is like waiting. He's like, should I open it this year? No, he's not going to wait one more year on this one. He's going to milk it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
Christ.
what? You know what I think about Canelo right now? To be honest, Canelo right
What's
now,
that?
before it might have been one of those things where it's fake it till you make it, and there's asterisks, yes, but surprisingly enough to me, his best performance was against Daniel Jacobs and the Smith, the one he just fought, the super middle. Those two performances tells me that right now, after having gone through Triple G, not gone through him, gone through those fights, that iron sharpens iron. He's in his best moment right now. His victory over the Big Smith, what's his name? The super
Callum,
middleweight,
Callum Smith.
Callum.
Callum.
Callum, and his victory over. It was a tactical fight, but his victory, it was a clear victory over Jesus Christ, man. Daniel
Daniel
Jacobs.
Jacob.
Daniel Jacobs is always making it close, and he's not that guy to give a performance where he definitively beats anybody else. But here he resoundingly lost, like an 8-4, and Canelo didn't make it close, and it wasn't the greatest of fights to watch, but tactically, I think that was a great fight, and he beat him and Callum. Those two have to be his best performances prior to the Triple G fights. It was kind of like fake it till you make it. He got to Triple G. He gave a good account of himself. I thought Triple G won. But right now, at age 30, he's better than the other guys that you just mentioned that are 30 themselves. Because if Canelo got a shit resume or doesn't have the greatest, well, he doesn't have a shit resume. He just got asterisks. What does that tell you about the rest of the people, the rest of the fighters, aside from Manny Pacquiao and maybe who else? One or two more guys in there, Inouye and who else? Not Crawford, that's for sure. Now we're going pound for pound, but in the division, he's kind of coming to his own, and he's a short guy, but he can carry the weight well. So I think this is more close to his prime than at fucking 40, 54. 60 was all right, but then you had Triple G there.
Yeah,
See,
especially if you take into the account like his current age and his weight class, like he's a fucking golden goose, like you said, Gonzalo.
and see, in order to be a superstar, you have to do a couple of, you have to have a couple of things, just like Canelo does, or Mayweather used to have. So, of course, the notoriety and well, the hype behind him. Floyd did it by making a fool out of himself and making people hating him. Canelo has the Mexican fan base, so huge following, but also you have to be good sound boxer with good skills, which both of them are very good boxers, and they have very good chins. So you cannot see, in that sense, having a good chin, you're reliable. That way you can only lose by getting knocked out, and if you have an iron chin like them two have, it's difficult to knock them out, and they're always going to win on the scorecards by robbery or something, things like that. Now with Canelo, I would even one thing that on top of his solid, but in my opinion, overrated skills, what he does good is well, his defense, the way he switched his style since the Golovkin fight, being that he's fighting bigger opponents at 168, and in order to prevent himself from gassing out, he stopped using the upper body movement so much. So 90% of his defense now is him blocking punches behind the high guard. That way he preserves his energy, and that's why always, even his punching output is small. He doesn't have a big punch output, but every time he throws one or two hooks, he has to throw it with full force to, you know, to make his opponent careful and be fearful of coming at him.
He doesn't
So,
appreciate the power.
sorry, I didn't get you, Pavel.
Yeah, like I don't know if I catch your message the right way, but he's like, he doesn't differentiate his power at all. Like he just, if he sees the opportunity, he just throws it all, full force.
Yeah, that's also true, and that's exactly, in fact, what I'm trying to do to say, because you can say before a couple of years ago, he's the punches he was throwing, they were kind of different. He would even vary them and use a lot of setup punches for his offense. Right now, it's only just those huge counter swings, just like you described. So yeah, and I do think that he kind of wants to throw those type of punches just to make his opponents afraid to come at him because they're bigger. So he has to impose his will in that sense, being that he cannot throw a lot of punches in order not to gas. So he would keep his punching output very low, but every time he throws, he's throwing bombs. But another thing, guys, it's funny. Yesterday, I was watching a video from Billy Joe Saunders' dad, and in fact, his dad is the first guy from the boxing world who publicly called him out on juicing and things like that. So he was openly criticizing and saying that he heard from various boxing people in Vegas in these previous couple of weeks that Canelo is juicing and how he does it. Talking about him staking his gloves, his reps for the big fights, saying he doesn't do it for every single fight, but for the big fights against dangerous opponents, and that he even has gloves who are kind of they hate.
Mexican made, tailor made, yeah.
You saw that clip, Pavel? You know what I'm talking about?
Not sure, official.
Well, the point is, at least after what Billy
Like
Joe.
the rapping clip. Sorry, the rapping clip.
Well, they okay. All the big boxers they're getting the customized gloves, but his
Mhm.
gloves are different, being that in order to allow him to overwrap his hands, they give him special gloves. They make special version for him with maybe more room inside of it for the big for a big amount of reps. I don't know how to describe it,
I
but
get
it
you,
was
man.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
man. I
so
have to agree with you.
Billy
Go ahead,
Joe's
man.
father made these accusations. He said that, right?
Yeah, I recognize your
I didn't check it out.
well.
I didn't check. I got to see this.
I I do have you on Twitter, right?
I believe so. I believe so. Yep. Are you on
What's
Discord too,
what?
official? Are you on Discord? I think I
Yeah,
thought I
yeah,
had.
yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send it to you now. Just give me
Okay.
a second. I'll find it.
Nice. That would be interesting. That's pretty interesting that his father said something because I don't know, man, but I'm starting. I'm starting to think that there's some people. Again, I'm not saying that Canelo doesn't have a chance to beat the top guys. He definitely does. He's skilled, but I think that there's other fighters that are like, at the top. You might see on the top on that top tier that have a chance to take Canelo. You're gonna see them speak up on what they perceive to be an advantage for Canelo, so that he could stay the A side. Remember, all these guys at that top level, they're all just as good. Maybe inches separate them, and only time will tell when they get in the ring. If one guy blows out the other guy, then okay, look, it is what it is. But if you put those guys to fight enough times, you'll see that they're very close to each other. And I think you might start seeing that with Canelo, especially the way boxing is set up today. Today is set up where there's nothing, all right, I got it official. There's nothing set in stone now. Now there's a lot of promoters, there's a lot of different ideas, and who knows? Maybe shit, you never know. Maybe Hearn is setting up Canelo for all we know.
What do you consider a fighter's prime? It's
That's
different.
hard to say.
The
Oh, you mean?
physical one.
Well, look at Canelo. Look at Canelo Alvarez, right? He started to get stronger, whether it's authentic or not, in his late 20s. Is that a coincidence? Or is that just the natural progression of a guy who's been fighting since he was 15 years old? Obviously, when he was 15 and 20, that's not his best years. That's obviously the case, right? There's no way 15 to 20 years old. 20 to 25 starts getting better. And then that 25 to 30 range, that's when everything starts to come together, right? Your physical and the mind, because of experience, everything starts to play into the way you want it to be. You get closer to the fighter you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I don't want to get too deep into the conspiracy theory kind of, level, but um, and it might sound like I'm a total fucking crook, but maybe Canelo's career is kind of manufactured. Yo, well, dog. Yeah, it's just I really want to give the guy, the number one superstar in boxing currently, the pound for pound, the guy, the benefit of the doubt, the biggest one. But it's like, especially in his recent fights, let alone this fucking previous build up period of his career, it's for me there's too much of a doubt to legitimize the guy like as a number one pound for pound, especially after the Kovalev fight. I don't want to get back to it, but I'm just gonna say that the reason that I went out for about 2 years is like, it's not that I got fucking rage quit. It's just I got discouraged from especially from the people from YTBC that um, um, right after the fight, they said that, oh, Canelo is the hot shit and all that. He beat Triple G. He knocked out Kovalev, like Kovalev was fighting some serious fight, which wasn't obviously not the case at all. I mean, it's like, just go to a fucking random Precise's video and you're gonna see the questions in front of you.
Well, I mean,
Why,
when it comes to Precise, they'll just consider him a hater, and maybe he is. I don't make any excuses. I don't like him.
Mhm.
I don't like Canelo. I'm straightforward. I do not like him. I root for him to lose, but at the same time, I do say he is a skilled fighter, absolutely, and I think he could beat a lot of these guys. But this whole thing of him being this super, just indestructible force,
Mhm.
when I'm seeing him fight a guy that got like 8 inches in height over him, and he's
Dude,
fucking backing him up like it's nothing, and it's like,
honestly, just one thing, just very one thing. It's I have one question for all the boxing viewers. If anyone beside us is watching us with an honest heart, uh, just look at Kovalev's previous 30-something fights before Canelo. He is uh, his whole style was based around being an elite. Uh, kind of leading slash counter puncher, but outside boxer. I mean, I'm Canelo's size. Twice as narrow, but at least I'm his height. Once 5 feet 7. You know, and Kovalev should deal with this guy, no matter his fucking width, like his child. Period. Like, you know there is some fucking skill gap. Let's say in theory, let's gonna say that Kovalev is much less skillful than Canelo. Obviously that's not the case, especially considering his style. Like, I mean, don't you see, like, anything wrong with it? Like, Kovalev acting all weird before the, the fight. Like, to me, the worst thing about boxing nowadays, I'm sorry to drift away from the main topic, but the worst thing about the boxing for me as an outsider is um, just the level of dishonesty that so-called boxing fans they indulge themselves in. Uh, they're just fanboying, and they don't want to look at just that very little aspect, like Kovalev being a bigger guy. Like, he should fucking treat in the fight with Canelo as his son, like a father beating his son. I mean, there are weight classes for a reason, and Canelo. I mean, regardless of the weight gap, he was smaller regardless the fucking weight gap, and that's just such a shady thing to me. Especially I got discouraged after, not to get personal towards any of the people, but I just got sad when some of the people in, let's say, BDA got immediately hopped on the Canelo bandwagon, even though I'm willing to, like, give the biggest benefit of the doubt towards the guy. Like, this guy is the superstar. I really want to see him as the superstar, but somehow there's so much asterisk over him. You get my drift.
yes, yes, and I definitely do, because look, I can understand if people being fans of Canelo, and that's fine. They just look at it as, the wins and loss results, and that's good. But when we've been watching boxing for a long time, and and you get like somebody like Floyd Mayweather, who was criticized, and I thought it was well deserved, for like playing games. In other words, so interested in drug testing now that Manny Pacquiao's a fighter of interest that people want to see. And then you see the stuff that happened with him and the games he played, and I thought Canelo was a victim of Floyd's politics outside the ring. I still believe that to this day. Um, I think he drained him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Floyd would have beat him regardless, but I don't think maybe Canelo would have had more of a chance to win that fight if he wasn't so fucking weight drained going into the fight. And then to see Canelo play these games, and I'm not saying he did it in all these fights, but there's question marks when there's there's rehydration stipulations, and fighters are not allowed to talk about it, but it comes out anyway. So it's like, you're basically becoming the superstar political backed fighter
Yeah.
And really, I don't support that because I like Canelo. He's an exciting fighter. You know, regardless of what I say about him,
He-
he's that kind of
he's
an
not a
action.
bad guy, right? He's not a fucking heel or anything. Like he's on the surface, he's fucking likable. Like even though he doesn't speak English, like from his interviews, like you're able to at least, even though you don't come from the same background as his, like you may say about him that he's a privileged all that, the privileged person, whatever. The dude is not dumb, you know.
Yeah, he's not.
The thing with Canelo Kovalev fight for me, look, my mistake was that I was not aware, I was not realistic before the fight. I overlooked the fact that he went life and death with Yarde, who should have, in his prime, he should have disposed of Yarde without any trouble in 2 rounds, 3 rounds max. We especially seen it in the last fight that Yarde had. Now, yeah, that's my fault because I was picking Kovalev to beat him, despite despite seeing that Yarde clearly nearly stopped him. But the thing is, now talking about if that fight was fixed or not, there are two things. First, you can believe that it was fixed because there was many professional boxers publicly saying that it looked like a fixed fight. A guy light heavyweight from
Badu Jack, you know.
Jack, and plus two other guys, the brothers, who used to train with the Chrome Gym trainer, with Tyson Fury's trainer. I don't remember them two. Two Americans,
Oh,
Durrell?
Darrell. You talking about
yeah,
Darrell?
Durrell. Yeah, right. So yeah, you can make that case, but I would say it was not necessarily a fix where Kovalev took a dive. Maybe because I would not completely write it off because, like I'm saying, there are professional boxers thinking it was the case, but also at the same time, you don't even have to mention Kovalev taking a dive. You can see it simply as him fighting Yarde just a month and a half before fighting Canelo, and saying that the same weekend when he was about to fight Yarde, the journalist asked him if he's gonna fight Canelo in December. He said, "No way! I would have not enough time to prepare for the fight." And then he got a couple of meals on top of that, and he accepted the fight. And he only had 3 weeks to train, minus the last week, the week of the fight where no one is really training. So, and plus on top of that, the rehydration clause that they try to keep secret. That's
Yeah,
enough to explain also why maybe why he was looking like shit in that fight. So maybe it was not him taking a dive necessarily, but still explains why Canelo obviously shouldn't be given full credit for beating Kovalev, plus old Kovalev.
Real quick,
But
official. I just wanted to
yes,
introduce. Real quick, official. I just want to introduce the new panelist, Fighters Complex. What's up, bro? I don't know exactly who you are, but what's on your mind?
Nah, I was just listening to what you guys were just saying. Yeah, man. My 2 cents is yeah, I actually like I like Canelo. I do think he's good for the sport. Um, his character and yeah, I don't know, and the fact that he's a Mexican fighter, it does add in that competitive edge to boxing. Having a big Mexican star like that
yeah.
actually compete. And I don't know. I like Canelo. I actually like Canelo. Yeah.
He's an exciting fighter. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Canelo. If you say
I
that
agree.
you don't like Canelo the way in terms of like the kind of excitement he brings into the ring, then I guess you're more of like one of those back foot fighters. You like those kind of fights. So I
Not
do
to say
like.
haters.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's when you get to the top, right, and there's a lot of backing with money, I do believe they rig fights. It doesn't always work out that that way, but they rig fights in the sense of I'm going to give you the better chance to win the fight, like the judges,
It's
referee
not
calls.
like in the 1950s. Sorry to interrupt you, recognize, but it's not like it's not the 1950s era when okay, the mafioso tells you're gonna drop in the fourth round and you're gonna stay down, and
Right.
yeah,
Yep. And I even see it with the fighters that I like. I'm talking about the fighters that I like, that I've personally talked about. I've seen it. I've seen fights where I'm like, nah, there's some bullshit going on. Or at least that's what I thought, right? I'll give you one situation. I love Manny Pacquiao. Everybody knows that. But Provodnikov getting robbed by Chris Algieri, you know what that was about, right? What if Provodnikov knocks out our boy Pacquiao before he gets to the Mayweather fight, right? It's not that Pacquiao didn't want to fight him. It's just the people that were there that were there to gain the most money. They said fuck Provodnikov. We're gonna
even
make
that would be possible.
I remember that fight too. I said, "Yo, they're not gonna give that fight to a jury just because Provodnikov was, obviously the aggressor, and his
yeah
eyeball was about to pop." I was like, "Yo," and they gave it to Algeria. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I was kind of shocked.
yeah right. I mean, you would think
I remember that fight.
the
Yeah.
more exciting fighter, the guy, because if you remember going into the fight, Algieri Provodnikov, it was the winner is going to fight Manny Pacquiao. This is Manny Pacquiao coming back from being knocked out by
Marquez.
Marquez. Right.
Yeah.
So he fought Brandon Rios, then he fought Timothy Bradley in a rematch,
Hmm.
and this was the next fight. So I think that Pacquiao's an honorable person. He was like, "Yo, listen, if Provodnikov wins, I'll fight him." I think the people around him thought to themselves, "Look, we're not saying you can't beat him, but what if he does knock you out, and then the big Mayweather fight is out the fucking window?"
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
politics works both ways. Sometimes it works against the fighter that I'm rooting for, and then it works for the fighter that I'm rooting for. And either way, we don't want to see it. We want to just see where the chips, let the chips fall where they may. Let them all fight each other. That would be the greatest way to do it. But they don't do that. They in boxing they don't do that. For your fighter, my fighter, whoever's fighter, they kind of like coach it through at the right time.
I agree.
Okay, let me see this dude's box rec. I haven't looked up Provodnikov. What the hell is going on with this dude? Did he
Oh
retire?
yeah, he
He retired,
retired.
right? He
He's
retired this
retired.
year,
Yeah,
right?
Has he been
Right.
retired?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because then he
No,
lost. Yeah, I remember he lost to Matisse, Molina. Yeah.
yeah. Remember, he started going on a string of losses. I mean, I don't believe he ever got knocked out. Ever got stopped. He just
Who's that
got
recognized?
Provodnikov.
Yeah, but Provodnikov, man,
Vodnica.
that
Oh,
dude was
never
like
got killed.
bonehead, dude. Like he just gets a lot of hits. He get hits a lot. I'm like, dude, he
Yeah,
bangs out. He bangs out.
absolutely, man.
Despite fucking Bradley's awful punch technique, it's still uh, uh, you could still see the damage on Provodnikov, like you said, fighter complex.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah,
he
man.
almost killed Timothy Bradley, even though I thought Bradley won more rounds, right, to win the
Yeah.
fight.
And he was out, man. I remember he was out on his feet, literally.
Bradley admitted it.
He was literally out on his feet.
You see, that's why I respect fighters like that. Bradley said, "I think I'm concussed right now, Max." In the middle of a conversation, in the middle of an interview, he's
Oh
like,
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, the post interview. The post interview.
post interview. You remember that, right? He said,
Yeah, I remember
"Think
that. Yeah.
think
I
I'm
remember.
fucked up right now."
I like him. I liked him. I liked him. He's honest.
He's a good guy. He never said he thought he beat Pacquiao. It
Yeah.
wasn't really his fault. He just got awarded the decision in the first fight. He even said he got death threats. And honestly speaking about how it felt to fight Pacquiao, he said it was like fucking bullets flying. The punches are coming from everywhere. They're hard. He knows Manny Pacquiao, like what he's all about.
I lost money on the. Was it the third fight? I lost money. I lost 100. I was pissed. I
Oh, in the
lost.
first fight, yeah. I mean, you really won,
No, no,
but
no. The third. The third. I
oh,
lost.
you so you had Bradley winning that fight, right?
Yeah, because I said then they fought so many times. I think Bradley's gonna beat him fair and square. Fair and square, or at least they're gonna give it to him again. Again, right? I said because sometimes when I pick boxing fights, I don't always pick like, oh, he's gonna beat him. I do like, no, this is what boxing is gonna do. They're gonna make this guy win, or he's gonna outright beat him. So that's sometimes that's how I bet.
It's
And
premeditated.
right. And then I was like, fuck, Pacquiao got him again. And this time Pacquiao won fair and square, and that was the decision. I was pissed. I lost 100 that day. I
A lot
remember.
of people and fighter complex. A lot of people picked Bradley to win the third fight, because of obviously, he's getting older. This is 5-6 years ago.
Oh
He's
yeah,
getting older.
yeah, right. The nigga's still fucking fighting. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's like fucking Tom Brady of boxing and shit.
Yeah,
right.
Rakim, that's what I was about to say because remember that fight happened in 2016 when, well, it happened after the Floyd Mayweather fight where Pacquiao got criticized for his performance, and then he was 35, 36 years old, looking on his way out, people talking about Crawford beating him. And yeah, many people got fooled.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, man. I was always more of a Mayweather guy because when I really started getting into boxing, he was that guy. So he's like Mayweather was that dude of the era. Like I could say my second coming into boxing, Mayweather was that dude. I first started liking Bernard. That's who I liked. But yo, when I saw like with the years keep going and rolling, all these guys retiring, quitting, getting knocked out, and Pacquiao still fighting, I'm like, dude, you got to give your hat off to him. He's an old man, and he's in regards to boxing, he's an old man,
At
and
least to some degree, man. Yeah.
right, and then he just beat fucking Keith Thurman, even though yeah, Keith Thurman came back, whatever, yeah, but he was probably a little rusty, but he still beat Keith Thurman. Not saying much, but he beat Broner, right? But like this dude is an old guy. He's still competing with the top guy. It's not like he's fighting the top 50 dudes. He's fighting the top notch guys, so you can't really hate on him. Yeah, like you can't. You have to like, show respect when it's due. The guy's an old guy. He's still banging with the best. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think he could be beaten now. Obviously, I think he can lose to. I would probably pick Crawford or Spence,
yeah, yeah,
or Porter, even a
yeah.
guy like Sean Porter to beat him. But the fact that we're talking about him at the top level of those guys and that he can compete with them, we don't know for sure, right? We think we know what could happen. That goes to tell you that the guy is a legendary fighter. Mayweather's a legendary
Who's
fighter
greater?
as
Who's
well.
greater?
Yeah.
Who's
Go ahead,
greater,
Gonzalo.
Manny Pacquiao or Roberto Duran? Who's greater?
Oh man, that's close.
Mm.
That's
At
close,
this
brother.
point, I would say Pacquiao. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe
He
you.
has
I
better
can't argue with you. I
accomplishments.
love Roberto Duran. Roberto
Same, bro.
Duran is a top 10 greatest fighter of all time. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
it's close, man. The fact that you can bring up and say, I think Pacquiao's better than Duran, or the other way around, and you got a debate going on. Shit, if I'm any one of those guys, if I'm Pacquiao coming after Duran, I'm looking at myself like it doesn't matter who they think is better. The fact that I'm in the conversation means I made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing is about Pacquiao is, uh, and I try to stay, I mean, as objective as I can be, but um, we live in a current era. The boxers, whatever your infatuation with the fighters of the glory of the past might be, um, those are the past fighters. Like you can see on the film, very thing that in comparison, especially to the current fighters, that they were kind of limited, and um, um, I don't know. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but
So you're talking
uh,
about fighter styles compared to today versus
y- yeah,
that's what I
primarily.
like that topic. I do like that topic because when I try, okay, what I do is I say to myself, well, if you're just comparing style to style, obviously the new school wins because of today's technology when it comes to training. All these medicines you can take, you got professional strength and conditioning coaches, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
What I say is, let's say a guy that everybody loves talking about, Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Let's take Sugar Ray Robinson from the past and let's give him the same opportunities and say you're going to be a full-time boxer. That's going to be your job. Is just to be the strongest man you can possibly be. I say Sugar Ray Robinson does very well by today's standards. Now if you're just going to compare him versus Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to say Floyd Mayweather probably outboxes him. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't get caught with a big shot, because if you look at Sugar Ray Robinson's style even back then, you could see that it would still be effective today, except
Hmm.
the defense is kind of leaky, and I think that's where Floyd might outpoint him and beat him. You know,
Exactly, and you can see the point of the so-called boxing historians, putting Sugar Ray Robinson or and this kind of ilk on the pedestal, and I have nothing against that per se, but um, yeah, it's just at some point you're gonna have to differentiate between the fighters of the past and the present. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, and what I was gonna say, when
Mhm.
when it comes to comparing fighters from the past and the present, don't you guys believe it's somewhat like in any sport, like you could say basketball also? Don't you feel that, an example, back then everyone didn't have that Allen Iverson crossover. Now all the basketball players got that. Like that's like fundamental. Is you need that. Like you need a crossover. So I feel like all players or athletes, they evolve with time. Don't you think that they just
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
of
evolve?
course.
That's why it's a hard comparison to make. You got to start then asking yourself, well, shit, if Sugar Ray Robinson was born in today's era, would he even need boxing? Right? Because remember, boxing was like that kind of sport that you did if you were poor, you were from the slums. You get what I'm saying? You just was a real tough guy, and you went
Right.
into the gyms, and you hooked up with the right promoter. He sees you, he puts you in fights, and you make money. So that was boxing back then. But these guys also had part-time jobs. So it's good to, like what you said with the basketball comparison. I like to watch a lot of sports. Baseball today. Today, everybody's a specialist at certain things that they do playing baseball. How many home run hitters now? I mean, you see a lineup where fucking like seven guys out of the nine, batting slots got 20 or more home runs. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't always what it used to be. These guys got they really perfected their swing, and it's across the board. So the same thing with boxing. The same thing. Everybody's ripped at the top level. I'm not gonna say every single body, but go look at the top level fighters of
Mhm.
any weight class. They're in great condition now. They
Yeah.
got these
Yeah.
boxers physique, these kind of bodybuilder physique on them. Look at
Even if they have like shit technique, right?
exactly.
At
Look
least
at
they
Estrada.
have something on fall
Look at
onto.
fucking chocolate. Excuse me, Francisco Estrada, and Gonzalo brought this up. The dude looks like a mini bodybuilder. You know what I'm saying? And he's a fucking super flyweight.
Exactly, man.
You feel like
Mhm.
they left from the being rugged, and they give them more to being finesse. That's what it
Yeah, because
evolves.
there's more incentive for money now. In other words, the longer your career goes, the more you maximize your money. and it's always been the standard. But back then, these guys, um, I'm gonna say just lack of technology. Seeing film on a guy, being able to do this master your body condition with boxing. These guys had to take more risk, right? And they found themselves in a situation where they fought 15-round fights all the time,
Mhm.
smaller gloves. If you go to the early 20th century, these guys used to fight fucking 20 rounds, you name it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
there was no way to save your career in that situation to
Yeah,
extend it.
yeah. Robinson was fighting fucking 5 fights a month.
Yes,
No,
exactly, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, man, and sorry to interject into your topic, but what you guys said, it's uh, like Rick and I said, like we don't want to discount the guys of the past just because they didn't have an access to the strength and conditioning as the modern technology, let's say, and in terms of physical development. um, it's not that they would be automatically some fucking kind of a journeyman, right? I mean, they had the skills to fall back onto. It's just the doubt that I have is um, the fighters of today are just a little bit, at least a little bit more refined, you know.
yeah, yeah. Because this is their full time job. This is
Yeah.
all they do. Actually, they're an investment, so they get all the best training tips. You could take any guy who's a relatively in shape person and put him in that situation.
And excuse me for interjecting once again, but all the thing that you mentioned and you're gonna mention probably, those fighters of the past didn't have any access to.
Yes, they did it.
Well, what?
They
But not only that, not only that, man. And I recognize I spoke to him about this a very very long time ago, and he agrees with me. Look, this is why. Look, because technology. Look, just think of it in the terms of the world. It advances, and you pick up where your predecessors left off. Look, technology. What kind of a phone do you have, for example? If you have like a Galaxy Samsung, I don't know, 7.
right.
Before the 7 there was a 6, and before the 6 there was a
Yep.
5. But in order for there to be a 7 there had to be a 6, and if in order to be there in order for there to be a 6 there had to be a 5.
That's right.
So the fighters from today, they have the privilege of picking up where the other guys left off. And if you don't have the it's like going back to the past. You show fucking Thomas Edison a fucking a cell phone, what is he gonna think you're fucking crazy? That's why like when the that's like when Cortez, they took to the Indians, they took the mirrors, and they got the gold, and they impressed upon the Indians, and they thought they were like really badass because they saw their reflection in the mirror. That doesn't mean, what I'm trying to say is, look, when you have the privilege of knowing a little better than the guy before, and you can pick up on the science, the technology, in this case, what sports, it progresses, from one generation to the other. You can teach the fighter nowadays, go to the body, and go to the body religiously, and that's going to pay dividends. Throw straight punches, change the angles, catch and shoot, move laterally, pivot, set
Yep.
trap. Those things were not taught to the other guys because they were barely discovering it. And you got to credit, it's like the discovery of the wheel. That's a
Yes.
great invention. But nowadays, you would think that's fucking ridiculous because there's things way. But if you didn't have the privilege of learning from one stepping stone to the other, you can never be to the point that you're at now. That's why it's
That's
that's why it is what it is.
but
that's
it's
a
funny, like,
great point by Gonzalo. That's definitely a great point. But what a lot of the problem is, a lot of the young fighters and trainers that I noticed, they don't actually study the sport or watch a lot of the old. So I think that's when a lot of young
Well,
fighters aren't
that's
really.
a caveat right there because if you go back in time, you will find fighters doing a lot of things that they're not doing now, right? And they're taking shortcuts in many ways too. Like Steve Kim said, they're not fighting the tough fights. So when they put him in there now, they're fucking scared a little bit. There's many things. It gets a little convoluted.
Yeah, that's another thing. They're not fighting elite competition like they used to back in the day. I think that's also something that the older fighters had over. But the debate's very, I mean, it's very hard to compare eras, you know. And I mean, another thing people even overlook style. As we all know, styles make fights in boxing so much as well. So certain fighter from an older era might just on based on style alone might give someone from this era problems and vice versa. That's just another thing. Like, so it's hard to always say the older fighter will beat these guys or that era's better, so they'll win. A lot of boxing just comes down to styles or who wants it more on the night, or and as we know in boxing, anything can happen anyway. So anyone can beat anyone anyone from any era could just knock out. Like, this is a sport where there is no certain answer. That's why we all love it. It's a fight, and in a fight, anything can happen, regardless of what era or anything you fight.
Right. That's right.
You know?
That fighter complex, you wanted to say something?
Damn, I forgot I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot.
You know, I was gonna say, in the way you notice, there's always a display of like, well, how good technology is, and a trainer teaching, like, you know, patterns of another fighter. And one of the fights that comes to mind is, even though I thought he won, Canelo versus Triple G, the second fight, right? So the second fight was very crucial because one of the things that Canelo did, and this is why I say it's one of his best performances, even though I thought he lost by an edge, just a slight edge, he didn't back up. So Canelo noticed when he backed up, he couldn't, right? The way Triple G fights, it's not set up to catch him with a big shot. It's actually, it puts you in a situation where Triple G is going to jab, and then come, you know, if he gets comfortable, throw a combination overhand right. So he stood he stood coming forward, or he stood in that mid range, didn't deviate from that at all. Maybe when he got clipped in the 10th round and he got a little bit buzzed, and you know, obviously he's kind of in recovery mode at that point. But he stood in that mid range to coming forward position the whole fight, and it forced Triple G to just jab. Because why? Canelo is a great counterpuncher. That's Reynoso. He's a smart guy. He said, "Look, what will give you your best shot from compared to the last fight? The last fight, you know, let's be honest. They probably said they told Canelo, you fucking lost. I'm guarantee you, and you lost that fight, bro. Like, you lost. He beat you. Okay?
Yeah. My boy bet 500 on that fight. He bet on Canelo. He was so happy it was a draw. That motherfucker.
Yeah,
lucky,
exactly, right?
lucky bastard.
That was me.
Lucky
I got half my money back. I got half my money back. I bet Canelo, but when it was a draw, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get half my money.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I kind of did see Triple G winning that first one, man. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. That they kind of gifted that one to.
No, he clearly won it. He clearly.
I remember. I remember what I was gonna say. All I was gonna say was that I felt like styles, like everything, like even fashion or whatever, everything recycles, right? So, like an example, not to go too much off the Canelo fight, but that when you saw when Maidana fought Mayweather, you saw that at that point, that's when boxing, you know, getting on the bike was the new thing, you know, being more finesse, right? Defense oriented, right? Maidana, he did some old school ass boxing. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna just rough him the fuck up."
Some scrappy ass stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, old school bar fight style in the kitchen. You know, he said, "Yo, fuck it, he's gonna take it old school. He's gonna rough this motherfucker up." And that fight, honestly, that first fight with Mayweather, I would have, if they would have gave it to Maidana, I would not say it as a robbery.
I agree with you, brother. I agree, because I thought he won that fight. I'm not saying he won 100%. You know, don't even question it.
Right.
I thought, in my opinion, the way I score fights, who's controlling the real estate of the ring, all that stuff you got to take into consideration. I thought he won that fight on those criteria. Second fight, obviously, I can see where Floyd wore more around, but he still roughed him up, bro. He still got the better shots in. He lost, but he got the better shots in,
right.
the more effective shots. But
yeah.
I mean, listen, man. these fights, I kind of lost my train of thought, but these fights are like, they're not like 100%, but you can see where the politics are there, right? Because everybody going in knew that if the fight was close, Floyd was going to win on the scorecards. If the fight was close between Golovkin and Canelo, and at least in the rematch, you knew that if there was an argument to be made that Canelo could have won that fight, they're going to give it to him. Okay,
Right,
and
right.
that's not to take that doesn't take away from Canelo unless you're saying
Mhm.
he beats everybody in the history of boxing. Then okay, now you're opening yourself up for, well, Triple G beat him. You get what I'm saying? Then that's when I thought Triple G won that fight. So don't say that he's the best that ever did it.
The thing is, if I may interject for a second, it's like I don't have a problem at all in determining Mayweather the winner or Canelo the winner. Absolutely not. What I have a problem with is that the many standards or multiple standards that people adhere to, like if I don't know really how to put it. Sorry for
Well,
my
yeah,
English, but
you
if
changing the goalposts.
yeah, like just consistently moving the goalposts for specific fighters. I don't get that. Like I'm really from myself, I'm really willing to give Money May or Canelo really fair trade as a boxing fan. I know I'm not a fighter. I ain't shit, right? But still, it's like um, I don't understand why, for instance, to give you a extreme example, Pacquiao has to fucking go through all those hoops, and I don't know, someone like Canelo has to fucking win one fucking fight in like Avni Yildirim or someone like that, and he gets all the praise like a Pacquiao would get in his whole career. Like that's what I don't understand.
You, you know what it is? Because out of all the sports,
Uh
specific, like we could say, especially about like fighting combat sports,
huh.
it's so like subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you go into baseball, it's a home run, it's first base, it's
0 or 1, right?
touchdown, it was a 3-pointer, like everything is like so clear cut, but
Yes or no?
right, yes and no, but in boxing it's more like, oh well, yeah, he hit him with 20 punches, but those 2 punches I think were more effective than those 20. So it's so tricky,
Hmm.
yeah, it's always going to be subjective. It all depends on what type of fighting does this judge like, or
I
it's
guess, man.
right, because they're going to say, oh yeah, oh well, we're not biased, but you're always going to be a little biased.
When boxing started to get into politics outside of the ring, then subjective scoring became a thing, right? Before it was pretty clean cut, right? It's like who's the aggressor, who's landing the clean and effective punching. Then it became something else when the politics came in, and that was like a way to, like, justify why I think this guy won the fight. But
Yeah.
it always wasn't like that, because I always found it pretty easy to score a boxing fight. Not all the time, but like on average, it's pretty easy to score. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy is trying to make the fight, the other guy's not. Uh, this guy, they're both landing equal amount of punches, but the other guy is landing the more effective punching, or they're landing the same amount of punches, but the other guy's on the run. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's always been pretty,
Yeah.
for the most part, on average, it's always been pretty easy to score fights, and you can see this when there's no politics involved, right? You see the refs, you see the judges score the fight down the fucking middle when there's no like, um, there's no mission statement to make in that fight. It's like, let the chips fall where they may. Whoever wins wins.
Yo, yeah.
Exactly, bro.
Here's the money thing.
Sorry if I just quickly. Yeah, because I'm about to drop out. Just want to address the thing that Recognize mentioned. Totally agree. I mean, it should be so simple to score the fight. I mean, all you have to do is to, let's say, count the punches. Who landed more punches in a round, or who landed the better punches? But no, now they're inventing things like ring control. Ring generalship.
Ring
For
general.
one touch, it could be running around the ring, being on the back foot, moving around the ring. For the other guy, it could be staying at the center of the ring. Now, or judges supposedly preferring the defense or offense. No, fuck all that shit. The most important thing are the punches and who are landing more of them. And by the way, recognize and everybody, I'll be in the chat. Thank you for having me on.
Peace, Fisher. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Peace, bro. Thanks, man.
I'm about to end in about 8 minutes, but we can talk a little bit until then. SSB, we did talk about the Verdejo situation earlier when I started the stream. Basically, all I did was just cover what I basically what everybody was told, and my experience living in that part of town in Puerto Rico. Again, I didn't know Verdejo, but knowing what some people know too, that he was hooked up with some pretty gangster motherfuckers. Just put it that way. And I hope it's not true, but But even if it wasn't true, then it opens up a new can of worms. Why were you affiliated with them? But it seems like it is true, and if it is, then he's gonna have to deal with whatever comes his way.
Look. The thing is, even if you got someone in theory clear cut like Felix Verdejo, right? He doesn't uh, like at the first glance. He's not a bad guy, right? He conducts himself well in between fights and all that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Right.
like Tiger Woods, he had a clean image like Tiger Woods. No one
Yeah.
thought Tiger Woods would cheat on his wife. Like that's the last person people would think would cheat. And look
The
at him
reputation
now.
thing, like you said, man. And it's just I don't know. Sometimes giving, especially all the bullshit politics that was happening around the boxing scene in the recent times is just, I don't know. Maybe he did it. Maybe he didn't. But like, I don't know, man. It's
Right. To
just.
me, he's still look. There's an investigation.
Mhm.
His accomplice or whoever that guy was, if he was dragged to go there, I don't know. He said that's what happened. We know that in criminal cases in past there have been guys that were set up. So I'm not saying that that's what happened there. I think the more um, logical explanation is more likely what happened until proven otherwise, right? Then
Yeah.
something else comes to your attention, and it's like, well, no, that's not what that guy's saying happened. Is not what happened. But you listen, a talented dude. I thought he was a very talented fighter, in my opinion. He made a lot of mistakes, but he was so fast, and I'm talking about when he was on the come up. Um, you know,
Can you
fast,
repeat
muscle
his name,
twitching.
please?
Huh?
Could you repeat his name, please? I didn't catch it.
Felix Verdejo. I'm saying that
Oh, okay.
I thought he
Okay.
was a pretty talented fighter coming into the game. Considering his age and his maturity in terms of inside the ring.
He's a fucking Olympian, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember when Lomachenko beat him? Some reporter was like, "Wow, you beat Verdejo." He corrected the reporter and said Verdejo was a baby when I fought him. Like, calm down. In other words, that guy's going to be really good. Um, and so he this is what happens when you're living a dishonest lifestyle. To be a boxer today, there's options for you. You could live a clean life. There's too many examples of that, of guys who are living clean lives, relatively to the streets and stuff like that. And it seems like to me, from what all that I understand from a lot of people repeating the same thing that was told to me by somebody that they don't know, it just seems like he was. Trust me, I know that area, man, very well, man. I haven't been. By the time I moved out of there, shit, Verdejo wasn't even thought of. But the I don't have to be there. I know how it was back then, and I know what it was like. What it's probably still like today. And if you get caught up with the wrong people, it's one or two things. It's because that's who you are, right? Or you just basically, I guess you never had a choice. One of the two.
And
And his,
Yeah.
go ahead.
my whole thing was like, I expected this from so many other boxers, not him. That was the real shock to me. Um, um, like even like he looks like a Christian boxer to me. Like like I'm dead serious. Like he looks like the guy that goes to church, but he could just fight. And they said, you know what, I'm gonna fight in the name of Jesus, because to get my family out of poverty. Like I swear, when I saw him, like when I saw it yesterday, I said, I can't believe this shit, Verdell, out of all the people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought my guy or Adrian Broner would do some shit like this.
You know what? If I
Well,
can
if you
add
think of the, you think of it.
onto your thought.
Yep.
Sorry, Gonzalo. I'm just gonna uh, say one thing, but yeah, like your fighter said, it's like um, you would sooner expect some shit like that from, I don't know, someone of a not even personality, but a track record, like a proven track of I don't know, Adrian Broner or someone like that. Like uh, you know what I mean? Like not
Yeah, somebody who's like,
Verdejo.
there's one thing that I want to say that a lot of times when you see a quiet person and you can't really pinpoint that person, right?
Mm.
Those are the ones that you more likely have to be careful for in all things considering, right? If you guys knew about San Juan, Puerto Rico, and certain parts, not all of it, because San Juan is a beautiful island. It's actually an island that's connected to
Is it a
Puerto
part
Rico.
of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's part of Puerto Rico,
Okay.
but it's a little island. I come from there, and my experience was beautiful over there. Not all of it, but it was, it's where I was born at and lived there for a certain part of my life. But there was always this element that it seems like he was caught up in, and this is something that was brought to my attention by somebody who grew up in the same area, somebody that I kept in contact with, pretty much all my life, and he lived there a lot longer than me, and so he told me straight up. He just said, "Look, man, I don't think that kid's gonna go far." And he said it has nothing to do with his talent. It has to do with the decisions he makes and the people he's associated with. And he started to explain to me certain parts, and I was like, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about." So,
Oh shit! I didn't even know that San Juan is an island. Damn, I didn't even know that.
yeah. So it's. I mean, it's obviously it's part of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but yeah, but then it's like the highways connected to it. Oh shit! I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
there was this bridge that goes through. It's a twin bridge. They called it in English it's the brother bridge, right?
Oh yes,
Uh, so
Santurce, Miramar, Condado.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I was actually born in Santurce in the hospital there.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, look, the lesson is, man, when you got when you're not living right, it's gonna outweigh your what you have in front of you. And in his case, if he did it, man, he's a monster, bro. And
You
he
think
gets.
karma got into him?
I mean, his karma, I think, is coming up if he did this, right? And
Okay.
even if he's affiliated with it, let's say he didn't actually did it, right?
Hmm.
It was something that needed to be taken care of. That shit all comes back, bro. All that stuff. Today you're laughing, and tomorrow you're crying, bro.
Yeah, it's like
All you gotta
it's okay.
do.
It's okay to lie if you don't get caught. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Gonzalo, man.
Sorry, it's because I got a bad internet connection. I'm
Don't
idle,
worry, Gonzalo.
cutting in and out.
That's fine.
So when I'm connected, I just want to say, all you gotta do is look at the motive. Yes, like Fighter Complex said, he might have that clean cut, fucking goody two shoes image of a guy, but just think about it. If you're trying to keep up that image, like a clean cut dude, like that, that you want to keep up with the Joneses, that you want to show to everybody, yeah, I have this wife, and my child, I live a clean cut life. Just imagine if people found out you got another girl and you haven't expecting another baby coming from her, like the relatives, like
Gonzalo, just imagine if I don't
it's
know.
gonna have a son. It's gonna have a son with
Mhm.
another girl. Then all of a sudden, grandma's gonna be mad, and fucking Felix is not the guy that she thought he was.
Oh, you breaking up, Gonzalo? You
Yeah,
breaking up?
Gonzalo, yeah, his
Connection.
internet's bad. He was telling us, man.
yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna have to hop off, man. I hate to leave Gonzalo like that, but I want to thank you guys for
One more
jumping
thing,
on,
can you
man.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Gonzalo, go ahead, brother.
I wanted to say this, man. I didn't want to speak about Johnny. I don't give a fuck about Johnny, but I'm gonna say one thing. He came back as Johnny from Chicago, and he said that he said what Felix Verdejo did. Felix Verdejo did. He condones it. Yeah, she deserved it.
Oh, Johnny
I
That
thought that
Boy,
was
was
grimy the motherfucker, man.
that was
Did you see
nah.
that video?
I heard
I'm
about it.
gonna
Yeah,
repost it for you guys.
Johnny Boy
He fucking
is
said it. She deserved it, and
he's the
the
low.
girl's pregnant.
Listen, Johnny, you know that this.
Motherfucker apologized, but you think he really means that dude got a bad heart, man. That's a fucking pussy, fake ass motherfucker with a
Yeah,
bad heart.
I
There could be
agree.
fake fuckers with fucking bad hearts, dude. Don't just think because he's fake, he doesn't have a bad heart.
Dude, I know gangsters that have a better heart than him. Way better heart than he does. You
Yes,
know what I'm
there
saying?
you go. There's
And
gangsters that have a lot of gangsters have many of the gangsters have great hearts.
a lot of them do. A lot of them do. A lot of them is just, it is what it is. But look, man, what I'll say about, on this will be my like closing thoughts. Excuse me. Um, Johnny Boy, you're not welcomed here. You fake, and you're a bad. You're a fucked up dude, and you just need to. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. To be perfectly honest, with you, I really don't care. Um, you're not welcomed here. Like I told you in the chat, he tried to come on, and I let him know. I let him know that he's not welcomed here. You're a piece of shit. I heard what you said about Gonzalo and all that stuff, and I think you really mean that stuff. So therefore, like I said,
She
man,
just said it about the girl that Felix Verdejo, the Keisha Rodriguez. She was pregnant. She deserved it.
right?
Just imagine that, man.
Yeah, you're not nobody I want to ever be associated with, friends with. The only thing I would do if I saw you in front of me is say you get the fuck out my face, and if you don't, then it be consequences, and that's it. That's all I gotta say about him. All right, guys. You guys can hear me?
yeah. We hear you. We hear you.
All right. Fighter complex, man. First time having you on the panel. You're more than welcome. The next time, man. I might do one tomorrow.
I
Uh,
no doubt.
thanks for
I hop
jumping by,
in.
man.
I know that we are
Pavel,
subscribed.
definitely, man. I appreciate that. Pavel, thank you for coming, man. Showing up again, man. You've been away for a long time. Definitely
It's
good having
boxing,
you on.
man. You know.
And Gonzalo, God bless you always. God, you're always in my thoughts. You and your family, and we'll talk more for sure. We're still working on all that stuff, and and that's my word. And to the chat, man, thank you guys for coming through, and hit the like and subscribe, and drop me a cash app, bro. Drop me a cash app. Nah, I ain't got no cash app, man. This shit is for free. You won't see me begging on this shit, but
You
yeah,
have
man.
your
Thank you
good
guys
money.
for stopping by, bro.
All right, yo, peace.
Peace.
Take care. Take care, Chad.